Hey, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to another show on the Comic Art Live channel. If you love comic art like I do, please consider subscribing to this channel. We're always doing art sales and interviews and all that kind of fun stuff. And you never want to miss anything that we're doing here, because today we've got a great show. I've got Joe Linsner on. This is the third show that Joe and I have done together, and we always have a good time chatting about his career and what he likes to do in the hobby. And of course, we do an art sale at the end of the show. So today I'm going to go over and answer a few questions. I saw that Eric wanted to know, how does the sale actually work? Does it happen in the chat, or will it be on a website? I'll answer that question right away, just to give everybody the lowdown on how the sale portion of the show will happen today. So claims happen in the chat. Every piece of art that we show today will have a lot number. So when you want to claim a piece of art, we'd appreciate it if you just type in claim and then the lot number, just claim and a 1, etc. And you can claim art anytime during the broadcast. There are 34 pieces of published art today that we have to show you, and also 3 auctions that we're going to do. So we know that you may like to kind of see all 34 pieces before you make a decision, and that's okay. Or you may see a piece that you want to have and you want to claim it immediately. But it's always good to take notes while you're watching the show. We highly recommend that. But after the show, if you've claimed any artwork, you need to email me, bill@comicartfans.com. And when you do that, include your mailing address. Just makes things a lot easier when we're going to sync up and send invoices out after the show. Now, we have written down here, payments must be made within 48 hours of invoice. I will let everybody know that I talked with Joe before the show, and we are open to doing time payments so long as we get a third down and payments are made within 45 days. So completed from point of invoice. So a third down and completed payments within 45 days. So, but typically we do go with the 48 hours, but, little leeway for everyone today. Now, there is a service fee. If you are paying through PayPal or credit card, there is a 4% US charge, or 5.5 if you are international. No fee with Zelle. And I do accept checks as well. So for those of you who want to send a check in, we can do it that way, as long as your payment is in the mail immediately on Monday. And as far as shipping goes, art prices do not include shipping and handling. Domestic shipping is $30, and international shipping, and that does include Canada, is $65. And fulfillment is handled by yours truly. We ship everything incredibly well in Masonite, and I think anybody in the chat that has purchased from me can vouch for how well we ship things. We don't want to see anything get damaged. I've shipped to the Philippines, all over Europe, and so far, not a problem has been had. And then, well, there was one other comment I wanted to highlight. I thought it was funny, but I probably won't be able to find it. Oh, there it goes. Rick Welch said, I hope Bill's wearing oven mitts today because Linsner art is too hot to handle. And I have to agree, that is a very fair statement, Rick. And with that in mind, let me bring in Mr. Linsner. Hey,
Bill.
Joe. How are you, man? I'm
doing all right.
Well, it's great to have you back on the show. Here, I'm going to put you in. You need to be over on the left there. Oh. That's much better. It's good to have you on the show. We've done these a few times, but it's always a lot of fun to get to chat with you. I think the last time we did this was in June of last year, before Heroes. So a lot of time. Yeah, a lot of time has passed. I remember I actually saw you at Heroes. We didn't get a chance to talk, but yeah. How has cons been going for you? I know you've gotten out to a few shows, well, Heroes first, but then I know you've been to a few others since then.
Actually, I think Heroes was the last one I went to.
Seriously? I thought I saw your name on something.
I was supposed to be in Baltimore, but I got sick.
That was probably the one I saw. I didn't realize you didn't get to that one.
Yeah, and I'm totally out of the loop. I want to get back into it. I'm going to be doing Heroes this year and Baltimore, and whichever ones I can properly line up. I know the whole shutdown, the lockdown, that in a lot of ways felt really good, pulling back from everything for a while, because I've been doing conventions since 1987, and there were some years where I would do like anywhere from 18 to 20 conventions, if not more. And to pull back and just spend more time at home, more time working on, projects for publication, that's felt really good. But yeah, I miss doing shows. So this year, definitely want to get back out there.
Well, good. We'll have to talk. I'm starting my own show in Orlando in January 2024. So yeah, we should chat. I'd love to have you and Christina out. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be wonderful.
it'll be an art-centric only show. No cosplay, no comics, unless people really wanted to walk through the door dressed up. But I don't think art collectors are into doing that too often.
No celebrities from old washed up TV shows.
No, unless you want to have them behind your desk, you know. But
yes,
but
Butch
yeah.
Patrick, former Eddie Munster at the Linsner booth. Yes.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't mind them. I just, for our show, I just wanted to be focused on artists, collectors, art reps, art dealers, that sort of thing. Probably have a few auction houses since they've got presences here in Florida as well. And but focus it strictly on that. And it'll be fun. I mean, I think I've got a lot of interest in it. Should be a good time.
Sure.
We'll talk after the show sometime.
Excellent.
Check your Funko at the door, says Rick. Yes, that is very, very true. So thank you, Margaret. So that's interesting. I actually thought I must have been looking at like an old PR piece. It said something like it was in a Texas show. So it might have been something from pre-pandemic or thereabouts.
Yeah, although hold on. I stand corrected. Last show I did was one of Mark Walter's smaller shows in Dallas.
Oh,
yeah, that was in November.
Okay, then that's what I don't even know how I stumbled on that, but I saw something and then, okay. Well, Mark's a good guy.
Probably talked about it on Facebook and
That
wow.
is probably it.
Shows you where my brain is.
Well, that's all right. So, we were talking before this, we got this thing started. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but you are the king of covers. And I mean, outside the fact that, you pretty much you're a night owl, you work from like midnight, sundown to sun up. But how is it that you're, able to get so many covers done? I mean, so many people, are kind of a one cover a month person. What's your average?
These days, the average is 4 or 5 covers a month. And a lot of that comes down to having a great relationship with Dynamite. They trust me and they give me a lot of free range. So, I mean, I've worked with editors who are real nitpicky and, they give me some line like, oh, I don't know what I want, but I know it when I see it. And like, ugh, that.
Yeah, that's not the direction you were hoping for.
No. And I can deal with editors with strong vision. I like that. If they give me definite instructions. But, coming from self-publishing, I'm used to coming up with an idea and then just going with what I feel like doing. And I mean, back in the old days, I used to do 3 or 4 ideas, but whenever I did that, I always knew which was going to be the winner, which was going to be the one. And a couple of my worst covers came from editors picking the wrong one. And I said to them, I don't know about that one. Oh, no, I think it'll be great. And subsequently, a mediocre cover came about. But yeah, like actually one of the covers I could think of was when Wizard magazine published comic books for a short while.
Yeah.
They did a book called, I think, Gate Crashers.
I remember that.
And I did a cover for that. And, in the storyline, I think the ordinarily mild-mannered girl, she picked up a sword and she went crazy. And I wanted to do like an inverse Frazetta thing where she would be standing there like Conan and the guy would be at her feet. And I thought that'd be really cool. But they went with this other sketch and the cover just didn't come together.
Oh, man. Well,
so with Dynamite, they let me, do, what feels best to me. And yeah, it's worked out really good. And that's why I've been able to, do 4 or 5 covers a month. And I think the quality level is pretty good, if I do say so myself.
No, I think you're at the top of your game. I mean, I've never seen, well, I mean, everybody loves the way you draw the female figure, or any human figure for that matter. But I mean, just the supple quality you've gotten with the way you handle the mixed media on the page is just amazing. I mean, I was looking at the stuff, setting up the slides today, and I had to zoom in a few times. I'm like, how does he do this? It's amazing. It's not something that you expect to see if it's not being airbrushed or something, and it's just, it's pretty remarkable, which is why I know you're putting a lot of time into these, but so you're getting about one a week is really, kind of your workflow.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Now, do you do, we've talked about this before. I don't want to show any examples because everything's for sale, but you're doing a lot of pieces where you're not going edge to edge on the artwork and you're focused on the figure, maybe a few things around the figure. Do you do the backgrounds on those when they're done digitally, in the areas that don't have any artwork on them?
Yeah, the pieces with the white backgrounds, yeah,
Hmm.
the backgrounds are laid in digitally, and quite often it's something like with the Death Dealer cover. On the final printed cover,
Hmm.
there's a very Frazetta looking sky, and it was actually easier for me to do that smaller than the rest of the page. So that's on a totally separate piece of paper, and yeah, it's just easier for me to composite everything. Like I don't do digital artwork in the traditional sense, like say the way regular comic books are colored digitally. I don't
Right.
do that kind of coloring. But what I do is a lot of compositing, or very simple fades I'll put in the background, because that takes 2 seconds in Photoshop. That's the easiest thing in the world.
I just wanted to answer a question where somebody wanted to know if the pieces were available to preview on Comic Art Fans. They're not, but I just put a link into the chat. This was a post that Joe made earlier today that shows small thumbnails of all the pieces that are being offered today. So for those of you who want a little preview before we get to the sale in about 20 minutes or so, you're more than welcome to take a look at those. Pretty much the larger images are pretty easy to find if you go over to Google and do a search over there for the published covers. In most cases, the slides that I put together, I found the published cover and put it along with it so people could get a feel for how that looks, because and that's why I was curious, whether or not you handled doing the digital backgrounds on those pieces too, because it feels very much like your hand is in those pieces.
That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah,
And
I would I would gladly work with other people to do the dirty work, but good help is hard to find.
I get
I
it.
was stuck doing everything myself.
So your relationship with Dynamite has been pretty good. I mean, you've worked with them for quite a while now, and I mean, and the titles are just perfect, right? I mean, Vampirella, Red Sonja, Bettie Page, Elvira. I mean, all these characters that I think fit really well for you. And I mean, I just I'm always, like I say, I'm totally impressed with the fact that you're able to do these so succinctly that you're able to get that many done and still maintain that high quality. It's just I don't know, I'm just blown away. And the fact that you do the digital work too is pretty impressive, because a lot of artists they don't really handle both sides of things. They're really just kind of focused on one or the other.
Well, for me, my background in self-publishing, back in the old days, back in the early '90s with Cryford on Productions, I was also the production guy. So I had to take care of the cover overlays, the typesetting. I put together the advertising. So the whole technical side of publishing, I've always been on the front lines of that. And switching over to Photoshop, my brain jumped over real easy. And I'm not a whiz in Photoshop or anything, but I have a really good understanding of it. I learn new stuff all the time. With Photoshop, there are 100 different ways to do the same thing. I learn new ways all the time. And the weird thing is, I've talked to other artists about this. If your brain keys into Photoshop, that'll sometimes affect your brain if you're, like, say, drawing at a convention. Because if you screw up in Photoshop, you hit undo or step backwards. And, like, I'll screw up in person. I was like, oh, shit, I can't do that. Hold on. This is organic. I can't, So it's a weird thing. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to completely switch over. But Brian Boland does everything digitally. Yeah, I can never do that because I like paper. I like the tactile. I like the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've said 100 times, for me the end product is the printed comic book. So whatever gets me closer to the comic book being the way I want it, I'm all in favor of that kind of thing.
No, that's great. We want artists like yourself staying traditional as much as possible. As art collectors, obviously it's important.
And as I get like every, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, I try to throw myself a curveball and experiment. Actually, do something very different. I miss working larger. I miss actually slinging paint around. I haven't done like a proper painting on canvas in a long time. And one of the problems with working on a deadline is, you don't have that room to play, that room to experiment. If they need something on Tuesday, it's got to look a certain way. And, I imagine my editors would not be happy if I turned in some vastly different work. If they said, Joe, we need a Bettie Page, and they got this more abstract looking Bettie Page. No, they want Bettie Page to look a certain way, especially as rendered by me. But yeah, I do feel an itch to experiment with bigger pieces with actual paint and to get my hands dirty,
Yeah, why not, right? And I'm doing a show with Adam Kubert tomorrow, and he came by when we did a art meetup here in Florida, and all of his current work is on like 20 by 30 boards. And wow. He in part he said he was doing it because it lets him put more detail into stuff, because he trusts the printing today. Printing today versus what it was 15, 20 years ago is very different. And he's like, I can get more detail in it and know that when it's printed, it's going to carry that detail into the piece and it's going to be seen. And I just thought that was cool because, again, it's somebody who is used to working 11 by 17, 12 by 18, decided to switch up to something more than twice that size just because it, kind of felt good to him. And he even said that literally when he works on stuff, if he's working on the top part, it's usually in front of him, rolled up at the bottom. And then when he wants to work on the bottom, he has to kind of roll it up. So it's definitely a tactile experience for him to go through all that.
You ever see how big Hal Foster used to work? The Prince Valiant pages.
Oh my God, those have
like 4 foot tall. It's like,
I was gonna say 3 by 4 foot. Yeah, without question, that's insane.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like leaning over a drawing table that much.
No.
So with you said it was Adam Kubert?
Yeah.
Was that for comic books?
Yeah, his covers. He's doing those as on 20 by 30. Wow. It's just wild. I know. I wish I had a photograph from the meeting we had here. It was just a collector meetup, but he came over just to show off some of his stuff. And yeah, it was just shocking how large they were. But yeah, only covers, just his cover work. But I can send you I'll send you a few pictures after.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, and also working bigger, more of your whole body gets into it. Stuart Sagar, dear friend of mine, brilliant artist. He always draws at conventions standing up because your whole your arm moves differently and you get a different kind of energy from working like that. Mm-hmm. And working bigger, 20 by 30 or so, you get your back into it more and I miss that. Sometimes the world of 11 by 17, can be very constricting. You want to open things up.
Yes, I agree. I have to answer your ashtray here. Ash, I hate to say it. I had no clean denim shirts today, so I had to wear this old one that is a little bit tattered around the collar. I apologize. It's usually the work around the house denim, but everybody is used to seeing me in denim, so I had to wear it. But hey, there was a couple questions in here, Joe. Let's see. Brett was curious if you were going to be doing any commissions at San Diego this year.
I will not be at San Diego this year.
Oh, you're not going to? Okay.
So that answers that.
There you go. Well, what about, you mentioned Heroes in Baltimore.
Oh, yes. I'll definitely be doing commissions for those shows. Yeah. The best thing to do actually is to email me. My email is joelinsner@gmail.com. And just email me 3 or 4 weeks before the show. And we'll set something up.
There you go. I may have to do that.
Yes, I see somebody asked if Dynamite is going to be doing a collection of my covers.
Yes.
I'm working on another art book. My first art book came out, almost 20 years ago. So I'm long overdue for another Art of Joe Linsner.
You definitely are. I love that book. It's it's one of the few that I go back to and look at regularly. You're that one and Brahm. I like Brahm's work too. But so
Brahm is great.
Yours and his book sits right next to each other on the shelf. But that's cool. So what's the plan on doing that art book?
I've got a couple of different ideas. Basically just the best of all the covers I've done. My Conan covers have never been collected.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff I did for Marvel has never been collected. Just want to get like 100 or 200 of the best pieces I've done over the past 20 years, and put together a really nice package.
That sounds good to me. What was the other comment in here that I found? If you come to my show next January, it's Joey said he'll wear his Dawn outfit for you.
Joey, you got nice long legs. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'll be the only cosplayer in the hall. They'll get a lot of looks, that's for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joey Boyack has Dawn.
We'll have a stage for Joey just to, walk it once. Let's see. John Neal just asked, is there any new Vampirella collaborations from the Linsners coming up?
Christina's working on something, which I might do covers for. I can't talk about that too much, but I am working on a Dawn thing that tangentially deals with Vampirella also, which God, I've been working on that for over a year now, and I hope that will finally come out this year. Actually, if that doesn't come out this year, I'm gonna strangle somebody. But yeah, my I'm not done with Vampirella yet, so stay tuned on that.
Cool. I think when we last talked, you had a few projects in the works, and I don't remember what they were. I probably should have rewatched the interview from last June. But has the work from the last 10 months just primarily been the cover work, or have you had any other things come out that I've somehow managed to miss?
It's actually just been the cover work.
Wasn't there a Dawn project that you had that wasn't in the can or anything, but it was something that you had started on?
Yeah, I have been working on the next Dawn miniseries for years now, and I have to finally buckle down and finish drawing that. But there's a special project which I mentioned last year. Don't want to talk too much about that until I have more of it done so I can show it.
Okay.
But that'll be coming out through a Kickstarter later on this year. That's the thing that tangentially has Dawn and Vampirella. So again, don't want to talk too much about that, but that's got to come out this year, damn it.
Good. Well, that I would love to help you promote it however I can. So maybe
cool.
I could have you on like the day before it starts or the day after it starts, something like that, and we can just talk about it and push it a little bit. I mean, I'd love to do that with you.
Nice, Bill. It's very generous. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. And Frank Wallace wanted to know about New York Comic Con. I guess that's a no, because that wasn't on your list. Heroes in Baltimore were your two shows.
Yeah, the New York Comic Con in October.
Yeah.
Wasn't planning on doing that, but maybe I will try to do that one, because I'm from New York and I haven't been there. The last time I was in New York was in December 2019, right before the pandemic changed the world, and had a fantastic time. Did one of my Carbonaro shows up there.
Oh, sweet. Mm-hmm.
And New York was always a treat. So maybe I will try to do that one this year.
Well, there you go, Frank. Pay attention to. What's the best way to follow you for social stuff? I mean, is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? What do you?
Oh, it's definitely Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, I actually don't understand Twitter.
I don't either.
Yeah, the controls make no sense to me. Same thing with Instagram. But Facebook is almost idiot proof. So.
We're cut from the same cloth. Then I auto post to Instagram and Twitter from Facebook because I don't get either one very well. And I go to Twitter and I can't figure out like how to find something I posted if I want to edit it. I just don't understand the whole model. And Instagram's kind of the same way. Although I know I should learn how to use Instagram. Seems like that's where all the people dabbling in the arts in any way use Instagram a lot. I don't get it. I'm easier.
Why is Instagram so popular? I don't get it.
Probably because it's a platform that's designed for mobile. It's all about images, right? So it caters well to just thumbing through stuff really quickly and stopping on things that catch your eye, and you clicking a heart button or something. I think at the end of the day, whereas Facebook is a little more clunky, you have to read something, but that's what I prefer. I don't. And Instagram has like weird format sizes, right? It can't be the whole rectangle.
Yes,
You got to crop it. I mean, it's
that
just
right there is the thing that turned me off. I'm
Yeah.
sick and tired of seeing my name chopped off in pieces. And
I agree. That was kind of why I stopped posting to Instagram with half of our stuff, because I was tired of editing an image to crop it to Instagram's format. So because I can post to it and automatically in a couple different ways, but yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I don't get it. Why is everybody on Instagram? You can't put links in your Instagram description.
Yes, I tried to.
What the hell good is it for?
Yeah, I tried to post a link to this, and it wasn't working. So, yeah, later for that. But yeah, Facebook is definitely the way to follow me.
Yeah, there you go. CJ says Instagram for a dinosaur like me is easy. My only social. Well, again, it appeals, and so many artists are on Instagram. I know. I hear it every single week when we're doing the CAF updates. Somebody will say you got to follow his Instagram to see their updates. I'm just never on it. I wouldn't have time anyway. I barely have time for Facebook. But let's see. Oh, but here, speaking of socials, here I got to show you this, Joe. I think everybody in the audience will appreciate this too. I actually tried to boost a post for you yesterday for the show, right? I'm like, I'll spend $50 for a day. Let's get a few more eyeballs on this so we can drive some people to the show today. And this is the email that I got. Your ad was rejected. Hi, William. Your ad was rejected because it doesn't comply with our adult policy. This means that your ad isn't running and will not be delivered to your audience. So how do you like that, man? A picture of Bettie Page. All you can see, you can see, the shape of her nipples, I guess. But it's probably more so the fact that it was Bettie Page than the hint of nudity on it. But the whole ad was, I know, isn't that crazy? I mean, I wanted to ask you if you've ever had anything like censored on Facebook that you've posted, because you share quite a bit of your art on there. And I mean, I'm sure you're selective. You don't show things that are going to get banned. But I was just surprised that I wasn't allowed to advertise because of the image of Bettie Page. I just thought that was crazy.
I'm in shock. That's strange. And that's actually probably the most covered up I've ever drawn Bettie Page.
I know. Well, that was what I thought too. I was like, I'm using the most tame image here, and I might have had a couple other ones in there, but they were all the most tasteful ones. I was trying to be PC about it, and yeah, it was crazy. But I had to show that to you. I knew you'd get a laugh out of it.
I'm completely baffled as to what their guidelines are, because I know in the early days you used to be able to post nudes, and then they said no more of that, community standards. And then they seem to have loosened up, and I've seen other artists posting nudity, like the Frazetta people. They'll post, Frazetta nudes, and as far as I know, that stuff never gets flagged. And it seemed like, okay, tasteful nudes in art seemed acceptable, but then you get something like this. So I don't know.
All right. Well, I didn't have an answer for it either. I've just never had an ad rejected before for anything. I boost posts every, like once a month for something or other, but I've never had one rejected until yesterday.
Wow, I have the proud distinction.
Yes, I will never forget this, Joe. But I wanted you to know that I tried. I think I boosted it on Twitter and it was okay. I did a smaller one there because I don't understand Twitter, but I thought, hey, why not? I'll do it. But so they didn't care. But yeah, Facebook, they cared. So yeah, Mr. Redjack says next time post all nudes. Well, that would definitely probably get my account flagged one way or another. So probably not, but they should check Monera's feed. Exactly. But maybe it's just that they don't want the ads, because the ads get suggested or whatever and forced into people's timelines and whatnot. So maybe, but still, it still was a very PC image. I felt it had to be Bettie Page more than anything, just because of what her name suggests, I guess. But
and also, I think today is Bettie Page's birthday. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I saw that somebody posted about that, and she would have been 100 years old, I believe, today. Had she lived.
I have to Google that right now, because it's hard to imagine. But let's see, Bettie Page, born April 22nd, 1923. Holy mackerel, you are absolutely right, Joe.
Wow. So the ghost of Bettie Page is watching over us today.
Did you plan this show today for that very reason?
No, Jim McLaughlin picked out the date, I believe. So.
Well, I'm going to have to talk with Jim. That's he must have had some foresight into that. That's crazy. That's amazing. Well, happy birthday to Bettie Page.
Happy birthday, Betty.
Wow. And she's still around. Yeah, it is spooky, Todd. That's very weird. Because, the first lot is actually that image that got us, that didn't let us have an ad on the show. So, Betty starts off our art sale. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. So, well, that's pretty cool. Bettie Page today.
1923. Wow.
That's crazy. That is crazy. And it's amazing that, as an icon that she's still around. I mean, that she made such an impact on gentlemen for years and years and years, that her imagery still has has impact enough. But I know that she's become her own character, characterization. She's just something that she's iconic. And how many people can you say that were that have that kind of staying power? I mean, not many. I mean, and most of them are usually people you don't have great thoughts of, like a Napoleon, or where their imagery can last and be a joke forever. Bettie Page can still be out there and be appreciated. It's amazing.
Well, I think a whole bunch of things come together with Bettie Page. That very distinctive hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
A great name. Bettie Page is a great name, very catchy, and a lot of her stuff skated right on the line between being risque and being cutesy, and she's not the world's prettiest model, doesn't have the world's best body, but just something about the whole package all comes together. And I think a friend of mine, an artist, Erica Hess, she posted today about it being Bettie Page's birthday. So women embrace Bettie Page also, which I think is essential. Much like Raquel Welch, who just recently passed away. I knew plenty of women who loved her image, who loved what she represented. And I think if somebody's gonna stay around, they can't just appeal to the guys. I don't know how many women really appreciated Pamela Anderson. It's usually just jocks like Pamela Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Raquel Welch or Bettie Page, there's more of a universal appeal there.
No, that's true. I mean, I imagine as long as people are still willing to purchase the books that come out about her, or the comics, that we'll see her around for another 100 years probably.
Yeah, until somebody else comes along. I know Dita Von Teese wants to be the next Bettie Page, but I don't think she's got the goods.
She's all right. Yeah,
she's okay, but I can't see her achieving icon status.
No, not like that.
Like Betty.
Not like that at all. Yeah. No, I agree with you. But but that's cool though. So when you do it, I mean, do you look at a lot of, can you draw from memory now? I mean, when you're working on stuff, do you tend to go back and look at photographs, throw something on your Mac to give you inspiration, or how do you approach stuff like that?
With my Bettie Page covers, I always look at different pictures of Bettie Page, and I don't want to just copy one of her photographs, because a lot of people have done that, and I've seen the same photograph painted by multiple artists,
right?
And that's a drag. I never want to do anything like that. So what I'll usually do is kind of Frankenstein things together. I'll take a Betty face from over here, and then a Betty body from over here, or somebody else's body even, or just completely from scratch off the top of my head. Try to come up with something original, which is not always easy with Bettie Page. But I've gotten pretty familiar with her features. And
awesome.
If you dice up her features, I guess this is true of anybody. She can be kind of funny looking if you just take certain parts. And again, it's the whole.
It's the whole package.
The way everything comes together. But I actually think I keep improving on my Betty. I keep getting a better handle on her features and elevating what she is and making it more stylized into more of a Linsner girl.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Well, certainly with the style, with the way your artistic style, I mean, it makes it like a Linsner girl the way you draw her. I don't think anybody else would draw her quite like you do, and which is nice, which is, like you say, it's like a Vargas girl, right? Or something like that. You can tell a Vargas image, like a Gil Elvrin image. I mean, there's certain pinup artists whose style is so defined that, you can look at it and just immediately know who did it. And, your style is the same way, I feel.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I take pride in that. I recently picked up the Bettie Page book of Olivia paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Bettie Page is by Olivia, and what she does is very interesting. She'll have it's almost like her pieces are like 60-40, 60% Bettie Page, and then 40 her own style.
Mm-hmm.
She's not always trying to do a strict 100% likeness of Bettie Page, and actually, I think I'm going to try doing that a little bit, or I think I have been trying to do that a little bit more and more. And it seems to be working because, I mean, the last couple of pieces I've done, I've actually been very happy with.
Oh, very nice. Swan Shadow mentions, I'm looking at a Linsner Bettie Page cover from a previous sale that's on his office wall right now. Awesome.
Hey, very nice.
We'd like to hear that. And I have to tell you, remember when we were going to do that cover and then we just couldn't make it work out, that thing through Nick? Well, I liked your image, one of the images you drew so much, a part of one of your images, that when I went to Nick, I said, Nick, because we ended up having to do the project, right? I haven't gotten the books yet. Hopefully I'll have them in the next few weeks. But the part of the image was I borrowed from what you put together because it was so good and I wanted you to do it. But I changed the rest of it. But do you want me to show it to you? Because it's hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
I got to take it down, and it probably will be very reflective and not easy to. It won't read as well if I had a scan that I could show you. But remember when you drew that image of Vampirella and Red Sonja having a drink, and you had us like fighting on a table or something.
Yeah, that's great.
So I said I really love that image, but I was like, I want us all beat up in front of them as if they're celebrating just having kicked our asses and everything. And so and that was all I drew. But Ken Hazer, who does a lot of the sketch covers for Nick, he did the work, and he kind of drew it in a bar scene and a tavern scene as well. So just fun. But Joe, your work managed to make it over to here. I always meant to send you how it turned out, but I still, if we ever do another one, Joe, I really want to work with you on it. Just remember that. Because it was a fun project, definitely. Great. Yeah, it did come out pretty good. The colors are really nice too. That's kind of my favorite image of it. We did like homages. We did 3 different covers. The other ones were like a riff on Giant Size X-Men 1 and then Avengers 4. So just but that one was the only one that was unique. That wasn't after something. But you had a big part in that without you knowing. But hey, so we've got a lot of artwork to look at. So nice shorts. Yeah. Just be happy I'm wearing shorts. Ash, he's a fashion.
I'm actually naked from the waist down.
Ash, complained about my raggedy shirt and now my shorts. At least I have shorts on. Hey, Nick Brucci, nice to have you in the chat. But you're heading out. But it's your mom's birthday. Aww.
Nick, hey, happy birthday to your mom.
Exactly. So, and as Nick just said, 120 people watching. We only got 60 likes. Everybody can hit that thumbs up right now. We would appreciate it. But just as I was saying, we got a lot of art to look at, and we are going to start off with those the 3 pieces that we were going to auction off. So we probably should get started on that end of things, and we could talk about the pieces while we go. Again, we have 34 published pieces to look at today and the 3 auction pieces. So I'll just go ahead and remind everybody of the rules I set forth at the start of the show. That claims will happen in the chat, and we just every artwork that I show will have a lot number. I'll say it's lot number and what the price is, but just type claim, the word claim, and then lot number in the chat and hit enter. First person who does that will get it. As people who are regulars on this show know that, sometimes your chat is not going to order things the same way we see it here in the studio, but Joe and I have a clear view of the chat and we'll easily be able to define or say who picked up the piece. And at the end of the show, we want you to email me, bill@comicartfans.com, and let me know which pieces you've claimed. I'll need your mailing address included when you do that, and I will get an invoice out to you later this afternoon. While it does say here that payments need to be made in full within 48 hours of the invoice for this show today. Joe, I wish you were on camera for that, but it wasn't because he stood up and he didn't have pants on, everybody. But as far as payment goes for today's show, we are offering time payments, but what we want is payment in full within 45 days. We'll expect a third down, so I'll invoice for that 33% amount right after the show. Payment needs to be in full by 45 days from the day of invoice. So just keep that in mind. And if you're paying with a credit card in any way, PayPal, etc., it's a 4% service fee if you're in the US, 5.5% international. There is no fee with Zelle or checks. And so if people want to use check, I'm happy to give you my mailing address and set that up with you after the show as well. And as far as shipping goes, none of the prices include shipping. The domestic shipping is $30, international is $65, and I am handling all of the fulfillment. And we ship everything in Masonite, so everything gets to its destination intact. I can tell you that I have a couple people who I'm meeting at Heroes who've ordered in previous shows, and they asked me to deliver the art there. I'm cool with that too. And I can tell you that Joe is sending the art to me, so I don't have it today, but we'll have it by like next Tuesday, Wednesday, when I would be shipping the art anyway. So if somebody really wanted me to hand deliver artwork at Heroes, that is the next show that I'm going to, and I'd be happy to do that. I don't mind, but it's totally up to you if you're okay with waiting for, because Heroes I think is the middle of it's Father's Day weekend in June. So it would be about 2 months from now when you'd get it. But I'm cool with that if that is good with you picking up artwork during the show. And let's see. Margaret wants to know, is PayPal service thing? I've been doing that. I've been doing that for the last 3 shows, Margaret, only because now that I'm handling all the fulfillment, I think I know why Third Eye couldn't afford to keep shipping stuff and handling all the fulfillment, because the service fee just eats away. The credit card fees just take a bit out of it. And it's kind of a common thing these days, as everybody knows. Collectors are charging service fees and whatnot now. But I guess we'll talk about the pieces. But Robert wanted to know, are these all Copic? I mean, what are your tools of choice on the color pieces when we show them?
Pure Crayola, 100%.
Yeah.
Mostly I use Copic markers and Prismacolor.
Yep.
With bits of acrylic paint here and there, and Prismacolor pencils, both hard and soft. The hard ones allow you to get finer detail because the hard pencils keep a sharper point. And here and there, the pieces with the full background, that's airbrushed, usually with Dr. Martin airbrush ink and airbrush paint. My airbrush of choice is an Iwata HPBC with the cup, the gravity feed cup. And I just mix everything together. I use pigment pens for usually the medium brown. I'll ink everything in that and then put the color in, and then when I'm rendering things and finishing up all the shadows, that's when I'll go in with a black pigment pen and say do the eyeliner, do say Red Sonja's armor. Once upon a time I would have started off inking the entire thing with the black, but now I ink in the medium brown, and then at the very end go in there with the black just to spice up the shadows and everything. And I actually think I'm getting a more painted look working with the brown pigment pen to ink it, starting with, use that as the holding lines. And I'll lay all the colors in with the markers, either the Copic or the Prismacolor, and then I'll sweeten everything up with the pencils on top of that. Because usually if you just render something in pencil, you get a certain grain to it.
Hmm.
But by, I guess, double rendering it, the marker underneath it gives it a denser, more even saturation of the color, I think.
No, I completely agree. I'm very interested in the process. That's great.
And this is all trial and error. I mean, I might do something different tomorrow.
Hmm.
I experiment all the time. There's a great old saying about, never become too attached to any one technique, because that can be a trap. You know, my beloved wife Christina, she has the bad luck of gravitating towards different parts, different bits of art supplies which get discontinued. So she'll have a favorite ink, and then they stop making it. Her favorite paint, favorite brush, or whatever.
That's
And
terrible.
yeah, like actually, right now with Dr. Martin's airbrush paint, they're hard to find because everything's digital and not as many people use airbrushes anymore. So I cannot get too attached to my Dr. Martin's airbrush paint.
That's awful, but it makes sense. I mean, especially the way the things are today with supply, the issues and whatnot, and so many businesses kind of cutting corners here and there. You just never know, right? When you find something you really like, you got to stock up on it.
Yes. Oh, definitely. I do stock up on things, and the savior for art supplies is Japan, because they still treasure hand rendered art over there. And Copic, it's actually a Japanese company. That's where all the Copic markers come from. There were a bunch of different companies in America that made great markers, but they just died down. Like the first marker company I think that actually sold the ink, so you can rejuice your pens, was was it Letraset had a line of markers, and that was amazing because back in the old days, I remember like working on an issue of Cry for Dawn, and like at the end of the issue, I'd have a big pile of dead markers, because it just you just go through them like crazy, and so to be able to get the ink and rejuice them was amazing. And I have certain markers now that I've literally had over 20 years. And with Copics, the amazing thing is that you can buy the inks, and you can always have a nice, fresh, juicy marker.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the way I use the markers is almost a watercolor technique with wet on wet, where I'll put down one shade and then go over it, and you go back and forth with it. And the wonderful thing about alcohol markers is they work on the surface of the paper, or I should say they work in the heart of the paper, so you're not actually affecting the surface. Whereas if you have a water-based marker, it tears up the surface of the paper if you go over something too much. Whereas alcohol markers, a blind person would not be able to feel where markers were put down on a piece of Bristol,
Right.
because it doesn't change the surface, which works perfectly with going over things with pencil, because the same tooth, the same grain is there with the surface of the paper.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that, but from a visual standpoint too, it's a nicer finished product when it's still smooth and hasn't been distorted in any way by the watercolor. Yeah, like Robert Fairbanks said, it's super interesting. I completely agree. Those are considerations that I've never thought about, but given the way you work, it makes perfect sense that you would want to work with the alcohol-based stuff first, and then because you're going to probably be going back in with pencils one way or another, and you get the same surface. It's perfect. And
also, I never draw on the actual board that I'm going to be rendering on. I always do my construction, do my layouts and everything in ballpoint pen, because I love drawing with pen. I don't like drawing with pencil. And then I'll scan in my sketches and fix things, change the anatomy. The oldest artistic trick in the book is to flip things or hold it up to a mirror, because then you can see when things are out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
I'll scan my sketches in, fix them in Photoshop, and then usually blow them up to 11 by 17, print that out, and then lightbox that I'll actually ink on the light box with the Pigma pens, the brown Pigma, and so yeah, that leaves the actual board very clean. There are no rough sketch marks or anything on there, because the worst thing in the world, I've probably whined about this before. In the old days, working on Cry for Dawn, I would do like a whole story, ink it, then after doing that, had to go in and erase everything. And God, nothing will kill your arm more than having to erase 30 comic pages. That sucks. I don't have to do that anymore, thank God.
Exactly. Well, I hate to delay the sale a little bit, but a couple quick questions for you. Wild guests want to know what program you use for your digital stuff. Was it Photoshop?
Oh, Photoshop, yeah.
Yep. And Mr. Easy Go Lucky wanted to know, do you use cold press board?
Yeah, I think so.
For the smooth surface, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And let's see. Mike Sewell wanted to know any special consideration when framing your pieces due to the nature of the markers bleeding through the paper slightly.
Usually UV glass is recommended.
Mm-hmm. But other than that
stuff can fade.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've read Copic markers sometimes can have especially if they're in the light, have the can fade a little bit here or there too. So, but I think most people who collect original art, if you're framing it and hanging it on the wall, yeah, you always want to use UV glass, and definitely spend the extra money on your framing. Don't skimp. If it's something, it's a presentation piece for you, you should always take the best care of it.
Bill, did you ever see the one Barry Smith painting of a woman? I think the name of the piece is Psyche, maybe.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Somebody framed it, did a weird off-center framing with this weird mat, and the image faded, and like basically a third of the painting was like hidden by the mat, and the guy has since sold it, and now the piece is all whacked out looking because half of it has these rich colors, or I should say a third of it has these rich colors, and then 2/3 of it is like much lighter.
Yeah, that's it's unfortunate, but it happens. That's why you have to take good care of the artwork. Yeah, don't hang it on the wall if you're not prepared to do the right thing for it. And if you are going to hang it on the wall, even if you do take care of it, don't put it in direct sunlight. Still, just don't do it. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, so we've gone over. Well, here's the thing. I saw somebody which pieces are at auction again. Sludgy wanted to know. We're going to start with the 3 auction pieces. There's only 3. They're the interior pages that Joe's brought, and like I mentioned in the email PR that we've done, Joe just doesn't sell a lot of interior pieces, and in part because like today he's working primarily on covers, so interior pieces are semi-rare. Never sell any of the Dawn interior things, which is I commend you on that, Joe, for keeping those, because obviously those would be super in demand. But because Joe hasn't sold any interiors in a while, and I haven't sold any for him, and there's just no market data on it, we just felt that auctioning the 3 interior pages was the right thing to do. The 3 pieces that we'll show to begin the show, the art sale side of things, they're going to be starting at $400. And, we want people to just don't be bidding at $1, do some good increments. And what I would encourage everybody, it's not going to run the length of the show. I'm going to show the first one. When the bidding stops, we'll be done. If I do a 10 count in my head and we haven't got a bid, that will be the end amount. But just don't try to snipe, is all I'm saying. That's the main thing, because in a live stream format like this, you have to remember, Joe and I are about 4 or 5 seconds in the future. So if you think that you're going to throw a last second bid in, well, Joe and I are going to say, we're going to say we're done, and then you're going to make a bid. So in my mind, I'm going to keep a 10-second count. I'll even say if we don't get any more bids in the next 10 seconds. But remember, when you hear me say 10 seconds, that really is 5 seconds for you. So just put your best bid in there early. In this format, and you won't be disappointed, because when we call it, we're calling it. And so that's the way it's got to go. And I've done these before. Sometimes they can be a little hair raising and other times not, but I think we'll do okay here. But so yeah, each of the 3 that we're going to show will be the first opening bid is $400. And so we'll talk about these, because this is something that is from, these are the first 3 pages to a Harley Quinn issue. I think they were the only 3 pages that you did, right? This was something special.
It's from Harley Quinn number 15, written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, dear friends of mine. And they, for a while there, Harley Quinn was being drawn by a couple of different teams because they had multiple threads in the storyline. And I think they would have, me draw this one storyline, which kind of took place in the future. And then somebody else was drawing another storyline, and then so on and so forth. And my storyline went on for a couple of issues with just little snippets, 3 or 4 pages an issue. And then finally, there was a big confrontation where the girl from the future met Harley Quinn and tried to kill her, like you do. And eventually all that stuff will be offered up for sale because, it's owned by DC Comics, and I can't reprint it. I can't do anything with it. And I put a lot of heart and soul into it, and I loved working on that book. That was fantastic fun. I'm going to be working with Jimmy at some point in the future again, I'm sure, because working on his stuff is wonderful. I've done a couple of covers for him for different Kickstarters, and I like when you work with people you admire, you want to impress them. You want to, do your best. And with these Harley Quinn pages, Jimmy told me he loved my toned work, and I really gave it my all. So, there aren't too many toned Linsner pages out there on the market.
There aren't. So let's go ahead and we'll start off. I'm just listing this one as Lot A, but go ahead and we can talk about this one. This is page 1. You can see the printed image on the left there. With so this was the title page to that Harley Quinn 15 issue. It's funny, Joe. When I first saw this one, it reminded me of an Al Jaffe fold-in. Do you see you see it, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I saw that, and because I had been doing these different shows. But before we go on, anybody that wants to put a bid on this, it's 11 by 17. Just put your bid in the chat at 400, like West has done. Thank you, West, for starting the bidding on that one. And again, modest increments, please. $25, $50, whatever you'd like to do. It keeps us happy. But again, so this is the title page to that. But I loved it. I love the style. I mean, the moment I saw it, I was just like, I just want to fold it. One way or another, it's like it's got to turn into something different, right? But
that's so funny.
I just love this image, and it's Batman welcoming those the masses to Gotham City. I mean, this is an awesome image.
Yeah, that you don't see me draw too many cities like that. That was a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. And I saw Michael's got a bid in of $550, and Gabe, you've made the same bid at just after Michael's. So Michael's is number 1 at $550. But and somebody mentioned Captain Morgan. It is kind of like a Captain Morgan post, but that's all right.
Captain Morgan cosplaying as Batman. There you go.
Exactly. Wayne has put in $1,000 bid. Thank you so much, Wayne. But so was this? You mentioned collaborating with Jimmy and Amanda prior to that. Was this was this like the first issue from this Harley Quinn set of books that you worked on, or was there a preceding, like a 3-pager that was out there?
Before this, I had done the Harley's Little Black Book, which I did the entire issue. I drew, and those comics were thicker than normal, so I think it was maybe a 36-page story for Harley's Little Black Book. I did Harley teaming up with Zatanna, and that was awesome, and that was written by Jimmy and Amanda. And then I did a whole issue with Jimmy and Amanda the Little Black Book was done in pen and ink, and then the whole issue was done in pen and ink. And Jimmy, for this, he asked if I would do it in gray tones, and I said sure.
Wow.
And
it's amazing. And hey, I just want to let everybody know, 10 seconds, and we'll close this. I think Wayne wanted this one, and he's going to probably get it at that $1,000 bid. But yeah, continue, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh, this the gray tones.
But he really wanted you to do a gray tone piece. That was the feel that he was getting. Well, hey, before I say Wayne's going to get it, and it looks like, well, Fat Doc has put in a $12.50 bid on there. Thank you so much, Fat Doc.
All right, Fat Doc.
So I would start the 10 seconds again in my mind. But are there there's two other Harley pages today, Stanley. This is page 1, and then we have pages 2 and 3 from Harley Quinn 15. So you're basically getting the 3 pages that Joe did for
the whole sequence.
For the whole sequence. And so Wayne has put in a $1,500 bid. Thank you, Wayne. So we'll see if we get another bid or not. But yeah, I mean, but it's you really went all out on this page, though. I just have to tell you. I mean, it's just you weren't afraid to go that extra mile. And like you said, because Jimmy and Amanda are friends, it makes sense that you want to do your best.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of different ways to draw a city. You can just draw like a silhouette, which would have been the easy thing to do. But no, I was like, let me break out the old perspective skills and do the old 3-point perspective.
Well, it's fantastic, and I'm gonna call this one that Wayne with his $1,500 bid has gotten this piece. Thank you so much. Well, Nick Barucci just said 1,600 as I'm saying that. Were you watching the chat, Joseph? Did Nick's bid get in before I said it? I mean, I was actually writing it down while I started talking, so I wasn't looking at the screen. We either give it to Wayne, or we continue at 1,600 for another 10 seconds.
Actually, I do think Nick slid in there.
All right. Then we're going to say Nick is the high bidder at the moment at 16. 10 seconds, everybody. We'll stay focused on this. Okay, Southern Comic Geek says it did too. So Nick's was in. All right, so Nick is the high bidder at $1,600. Yep, everybody's confirming. All right. Hey, I trust the audience. Oh, now Wayne's upped it to $2,000. But like Nick mentioned, you're not going to see a lot of published Linsner Batman art out there. So it is definitely a rare opportunity. So
yeah, and this is actually one of the first times I got to draw Batman for DC Comic. I've always said Batman's my favorite comic character, and I was like a little kid walking on air.
Wow. Well, this is, I remember, I think the first time we did a show, you had some kind of like dark Batman cover image that was really cool. That was a edge to edge kind of painted piece. But well, I guess now I'm going to say I'm going to call this one for Wayne at $2,000. I'm not trying to extend the time, Marcus. Just I'm enjoying talking and watching what's going on here. So $2,000. We're going to give this one to Wayne. Thank you, Wayne, and congratulations on that. Thank you, as you can see, that's why we really weren't sure on the interior side of things how we were going to go. This is good market data information for Joe and I for future shows, or when Joe goes to a show. So next up, this will be Lot B. This is page 2 to that same issue. This is again from Harley Quinn 15. And again, just when I showed these off as a teaser the other day, I was like, this is my favorite page. I mean, they're all 3 of these pages were great, but just the action and the tonal quality on this one. So we're starting to bidding at $400 on Lot B here as well. But it's just fun, the interaction between the 2 of them. And, I love that the segue in that first panel showing the tenement, image and, just kind of the punching of the bag in those inset panels. Just really great storytelling right here.
Oh, thanks, Bill. Yeah, one of the fun things in the last panel, the character is called Bat Fan, and obviously this takes place in the future where people have, idolized Batman and deified him, and in the background of her apartment on the wall is all these different bat symbols in all these different languages, and that was fun actually hunting that out online and then in Photoshop sticking them in there. Which, if you look on the little color inset, you can see. I think there's a Japanese Batman logo.
There is, yeah. I was curious I wanted to ask you about that because did you know going in that you were going to be putting those in there?
Yeah, and that's why on the original the background is very open there. And I could have redrawn all those logos, but it looks a lot cleaner just stuck in there with Photoshop.
It does. And I think even on the first piece, I didn't mention it, there was like a floating kind of TV screen up in the upper right-hand corner that was in there that was, was added after, right? That wasn't part of the actual drawing.
Yes, that was a little bit of Photoshop there.
Sweet. Well, we're at $900 on this one. Galaxy Comics Saginaw is in the lead. And then, okay, well, Nick Barucci has popped in and said $1,000. No page should go for less than $1,000. And
thanks for that vote of confidence, Nick.
Yeah. But it's just a fun page. And it's back to the way you're handling the tones on here that just make it so unique. I mean, there's people there's artists who we're used to seeing who do painted pages, right? Similar ink wash stuff. I mean, like J.G. Jones comes to mind and a few other artists. But I mean, again, this is so distinctively you in the way that the line work is done. It's just so consistent. I look at this, and even though I've actually never had seen a interior page from you before, that you just know this is a Linsner interior page. So I love it. I love this page a lot. And we've got another bid from Fat Doc, putting it at $12.50. Thank you, Fat Doc.
Nice. So yeah, this was inked. All the holding lines are done with pigment pens, and then this is the warm Copic markers for these pages. Yeah, the warm gray Copics.
Well, it's beautiful. I'm going to put a 10-second one on this one here. Fat Doc is currently in winning this one at $12.50. So we'll see how things go. And Wayne, you got that one piece and is heading out. Thank you, Wayne. We appreciate you picking up the first auction piece of the day. All right, we're going to call this one for Fat Doc. Congrats at $1,250. We sincerely appreciate that. So now we can go ahead and show the final auction piece of the day. Again, a starting price on this one of $400. So this is the third page in the sequence from Harley Quinn 15, and I laughed at that. I mean, the last panel is just fun after she basically annihilates the Harley Quinn there, but just fun storytelling throughout.
Yeah, I think in the storyline, it takes place in the future, and I believe Harley Quinn was somehow responsible for Batman's downfall, and so she's hated in the future. And ultimately, Batfan travels back in time to kill Harley Quinn, Terminator style, to try to keep her from killing Batman. Yeah, and that fight sequence when the two, main characters, Batfan and Harley Quinn, finally meet up and fight, that was great. I love doing that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we got a $1,200 bid from Michael right now after Nick's $1,000 bid. Now, on something like this, did you do the coloring, or was that handled elsewhere? I mean, I know you said you did the placement of like the logos and whatnot. So did you do the full coloring throughout?
No, I did none of the coloring, and actually on these, I did not even do color guides. I told the colorist what color to make everybody's outfit and everything, but no, the coloring, and I wish I could remember who the colorist was, because they did a great job of it. Yeah, the coloring, I just left it up to fate, and yeah, everything came out great. I have no complaints about the coloring. Yeah,
no, I mean, it really complements the work. I felt that's why I was curious if it was you who had done it, but yeah, no, but again, this page is a work of art. I just love it. I love the fact that there's no gutters between the panels. I mean, again, it's all technique, but it's something that really makes this piece and the page prior to it just really interesting. Again, it's not an approach that you're typically going to see an artist do, kind of putting all the panels up against each other like that, but it works well. And as a piece of art, it has a different impact than a standard page with a standard size gutter in between the art. It's just something different, Joseph. And I know that these are like, these are just considerations you make when you're doing the work. But again, it's something that really is, your brand, your style, something that we expect. So, again, I really like this one a lot. And Spirited Biddings, Mikhail said, yes, we're at $14.50 to Dustin Whitney right now.
Very nice.
So I'll say it's a 10-second point here for everybody. But I love I love the look on the girl's eyes. Oh, there we go. He's
The little kid.
yeah, he's just so happy, so very, very happy. All right.
Yay, death to Harley Quinn.
All right, Fat Doc is now the lead bidder at 1550. So and I saw Dustin Whitney put in a bid of 1500. It did come in after the 1550 from Fat Doc. So we're at 1550, and I'll give everybody 10 seconds. Remember, that's 5 seconds, everybody. But 10 seconds, and then we'll call this one as well. Well, we're at 1600 now, so I guess I'll have to do another 10 seconds on it. Thank you, Galaxy Comics Saginaw, for that. I mean, even that, the first panel is awesome because, again, I loved how you did the tenement in the prior shot, and then you get the same similar kind of feel in the first panel on this page as well. All right, Fat Doc has put it at 1750. Deservedly so. Again, as a panel page, this is it's something that if this were my collection, I mean, you'd be really happy to have it. Again, it's a rare opportunity to get an interior page from Joe, and published DC as well. And with the team, you figure this is a Jimmy and Amanda piece from the writing as well. So we're at $1,800 now from Galaxy Comics Saginaw. And yeah, you never know, Nick. You never know. But I guess I'll say another 10 count, and we'll see where we're at. But again, this is we can't tell you how much we appreciate seeing this much interest in Joe's interior stuff, because again, it's just we don't get to offer these. Again, the first time I've offered these, and this is the third show that we've done. So Fat Doc has put a $1,900 bid on that one. Thank you, Fat Doc. We've got a few collectors out there that are very interested in this piece. We appreciate it. But we'll do a 10-second count again. And you never know, Alberto. Maybe I could. I'll talk with Joe after the show. But yeah, this is I'm going to say 5 seconds, and I'm going to say I'm guessing we're done on this one, Joe. Fat Doc at 1900. Right. Well, that's thank you so much, Fat Doc. We sincerely appreciate it, both of us. We love the see the amount of interest in all three of those pieces. So congrats to both Fat Doc for picking up the B and C, and for Wayne for picking up Lot A.
So what exactly is a mystery sketch? I'm curious about that.
For the virtual show that I do in May and November, we allow we have artists that sign up to just do it, like basically take a pre-con sketch, right? 9x12. We only charge $200 for it. But the thing is, the collector will say, I want a Captain America, right? But they don't get to pick who the artist is. There's 40 artists that are in the pool that they could get assigned to. And once we have like this year, for May, we have 150 slots available. We've already sold over a third of them, everybody. I just opened up the sale on Thursday night. And so, it's just fun. It's something different. You're basically supporting artists that are supporting my virtual show. And, some of the artists only do one, some of them might do 4 or 5, but it gets them work, which is really my goal behind it, is to get as many pre-con slots filled up for some of the artists who want to do it. And then the collectors, they're excited too. They don't know whom they're going to get. They get it in the mail a couple weeks after the show, and post it to CAF. And so it's just something fun. And I always tell the artists, it's a $200 piece on 9x12. Do what you feel is worth $200, for you to do. So some guys might only do a kind of a bust. Some people who do a full figure. Some artists put in a little background. It's really whatever they want to do, but it's just something fun that
That's cool.
It promotes the show a little bit, because it's a different way to get a little extra PR out there in the world about what we're doing. And we've done them the last 2 times, and they've just been pretty successful as far as people being happy with what they get.
Oh yeah, I would definitely contribute to that.
All right, well, see, then I'll put your name. We'll talk. We've got a few things to talk about after the show.
All right.
All right, but thank you for those on the bidding. Now, that was the last of the items that we're going to have at auction. Everything else is at a fixed price. The prices on all of the covers that we're going to see here in these 34 lots, they're priced between $1,800 and I think $4,500. Most are in that $2,000 to $2,500 to $3,000 range. But all of these pieces are published, and they're pretty darn stunning. So we'll be able to get through these a little bit sooner. But like I say, everybody should have pen and paper in hand. If you see something you want, you like, but you might want to see it, wait until you see all the Bettie Page covers, for instance. Just wait. You can claim any of the lots at any time throughout the show. Joe and I will be keeping an eye on the chat and answering questions, and we'll be talking about each piece as well, I'm sure, while we're looking them over. And thank you, Fat Doc. Fat Doc was saying that the sketches are awesome. Ordered another one. Awesome. So yeah, let's get this thing going here. So we'll start off with lot number 1. And like I mentioned, this was the piece that Facebook refused to let me advertise the show on.
The infamous Bettie Page. The
Exactly.
notorious Bettie Page.
I know. I mean, it's unbelievable. But so this is lot 1, priced at $2,000. It's from Bettie Page, The Alien Agenda number 3. You can see the published cover up there in the upper left. And and it's a fun one. A lot of these pieces have varying amounts of background. Sometimes, but this one's nice. She's grounded, right? And you've got some Grecian themes behind her. I mean, it's nice. It's different from some of the other pieces that are out there, but it's a beautiful, rendering of Betty, and as only as you can do, Joe.
Yeah, I believe every issue, the storyline had Betty in a different era. So one of the pieces coming up is a Mayan Bettie Page or an Aztec, I forget which, but this one, is her Greco-Roman period, and one of the other covers was Egyptian based. So yeah, like these covers were actually a lot of fun because it gave me something to chew on. Instead of, I love painting Bettie Page, no matter what the circumstances. If it's just her looking beautiful and sexy, that's fine. But yeah, it was nice having a little bit of story content to play with.
No, that's cool. They kind of said this era and then let you kind of go to town with what you felt was right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because there's another Alien Agenda cover in this set too, lot number 4. So no, that's great. And somebody just said being canceled from Facebook should add another $500 in value into it. I completely agree. I completely agree. Yes, everything is on 11 by 17, correct, Joe?
Yes. Every original from here on is 11 by 17.
And yes, I forgot to highlight this. I know that Prince Namor mentioned this earlier. He said, please produce prints of these Bettie Page covers. I don't know if are you allowed to do stuff like that on these, Joe? I mean, as far as from your work with Dynamite?
Yes.
Or is this with Dynamite? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, this is a Dynamite book.
Okay. That's what I thought.
And yeah, I will have prints at Heroes Con this summer.
Oh, sweet. Well, there you go.
I won't have prints of everything, but I'll have prints of all the greatest hits.
Well, I don't know if Prince Namor is going to Heroes or not, but obviously, there's many, many of us who are going, so I'm sure somebody could pick them up for you if you weren't able to do it. So lot 1's out there at $2,000 and Alien Agenda number 3 cover. So we'll go ahead and just show the next Bettie Page piece that we got. I guess I should have tried keeping these in theme, because there is another Alien Agenda, which is number 4. So this is for those of you with sensitive eyes. This is, I think, the only one that might stress your eyes a little bit. But this is lot 2, priced at $3,000. It is Bettie Page, Volume 5, Issue 1, and at least when I was looking for stuff, it was in some cases it was a metal premium cover, but the printed image is in the upper left. And Betty, she presents well.
And here she is, genuine nudity is seen here, because with on certain Digithoros covers and Bettie Page covers, I will render the nudity on the piece, and then in Photoshop I'll just censor it and just blur out a nipple for the actual printed cover. But on the original, you get the full Monty on the original.
I think we talked about this before too. That you do a little touch up for the printed stuff, but no, see, Margaret, exactly. Margaret's saying that definitely a funny thing to say for a piece like this, but I love how Joe does color. No one else does colors like him, and it's fantastic. Yeah, and I completely agree. I mean, he and also the way he applies the color too. I mean, it's all about his technique and his color choices that really make his work distinctly his. And this is metal. Okay, I said she presents well. Yes, all right, I'll remember that. That'll be we'll have to kind of hashtag that in the future. But yeah, she's definitely a beauty. Priced at $3,000, and it's lot number 2. Everyone, we've got 2 more Bettie Page covers here to go. So I'll show you the next one here. This is lot 3, priced at $3,000. So this is from the same volume 5 Bettie Page book from Dynamite. This is issue 2, issue 2 cover. And you know, I thought the way that the heart was done in the background on the printed piece in the upper left was kind of cool. You know, a little different than the way it was drawn. But was that your choice in how you handled the background there?
Yeah. Actually, that was a little bit of Photoshop experimentation, and that is something that would be really tough to do on the original piece of art. And I didn't know if it was going to work or not. So yeah, I like the way the the final 4-print piece looks. But yeah, I'm also really proud of the figure on this one, and she's actually pretty big on the page. No pun intended.
Right, and I can say that I never defined my slides very well, but the image that is on the right is the original artwork. So and I don't crop them, so if this was something that was smaller, you'd know it, because it'd be from her hips down would be the full figure. So this is one where the figure is probably 14 inches tall, 13 inches tall on the page, and yeah, maybe I should define pages a little bit better, but just so you know what you're getting. But she is gorgeous, absolutely.
Thanks. And yeah, the logo was supposed to go across her shins on the actual cover. That's why she's so tall on the page.
Yeah. In some cases, some of these I was only able to find like the Virgin variant cover without the logos. So I tried to find the ones with the logos. I just thought those kind of made it really clear, that these were published. But again, this lot is lot number 3, priced at $3,000 from the cover to Bettie Page, volume 5, number 2. Then we've got, I think this is the last Bettie Page that we've got. This is lot number 4, priced at $2,000. And this is from that Alien Agenda book. This is the cover to issue 4, Aztec version of Bettie. And gorgeous. And again, it's your palette, man. It's like these soft, supple colors here, even on the temple.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Getting to look up the Aztec outfit, and she almost looks like a Vegas showgirl.
Yeah, kind of. You're right. I never even thought about that.
Not a strictly 100% authentic costume, but it's flavored. It's got the Aztec flavor.
It really, really does. And again, I have to say it. She presents well. Why do I keep thinking that every time I look at her? But that's because she's presenting herself to us in this one. But it is, like Fat Dog said, it's wonderful. And it really is. I mean, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. I love the colors on this, and I like the way you did the digital colors too. You kind of went in there and did some work in the foreground, that just complements the image well. So no, it's really nice. Phil Bladen, I missed the description of how these were created. Are they painted? Yeah, Philip, we talked a bit about it already. Joe, if you want to kind of hit on, give a 30-second reminder for everybody how this piece
these are these pieces are rendered in mixed media, meaning I use markers, I use acrylic paint, I use colored pencil. So it's some parts are paint, some parts are marker. Yeah, I'd say it's probably 70% marker, with the other elements fleshing things out and tightening up the image. Smoothing out the to help get the skin tones as smooth as possible. That's where the hard Prismacolor pencils come in, because you can get a really fine point on those, and like say with Bettie, I'm actually looking at her shoulder, that nice fade coming out of her shoulder. down across her pectoral area. That that's done with pencil and then just smudging it a little bit and smoothing it, and it's a process. It's all back and forth, and until you get it just right. Shine it up just right.
There you go. Shine it up. And then the backgrounds are done digitally. And even in this case, the ground is done digitally as well.
Yeah. That was just a matter of selecting the ground behind Betty and then just, throwing a tint on there.
Yep. Well, this is a beauty, everybody. This is lot 4. And I do think it is the last Betty that we've got. I know that I'm going to end up mixing up a few at the end because Joe got a few extra pieces to me this morning, but I don't think any other Bettys were in the set that I got this morning. So that was lot 4 at 2,000. We can take a look at lot 5. This was, and I'm not familiar with the book, Bunny Mask, The Hollow. This is The Hollow Inside. I'm sorry. This is the #1 cover. It was a variant. It's priced at $1,800. Now, tell me a bit about this character, because I'm not familiar with them at all.
I was unfamiliar with the character when I was asked to do the cover. Joe Pruitt, who's a great guy, he is the editor-in-chief of Aftershock, and I was asked to do the cover and did it, and I liked the way it came out. All the big eyeballs and the teeth, that was all added in Photoshop in the background. The original is just the figure by herself. This is the uncensored figure, which the creators of the book felt I made her far too busty. So I believe we went through 3 rounds of revisions, getting her debustified.
I see that. I mean, now that I'm looking at the printed version, there's no lines accentuating the underside of her bust on the version, in the image on the left. Interesting.
Yeah. I kind of drew her, I guess, more full figured than she's supposed to be. So and like I said, I was completely unfamiliar with this character, but aside from having to adjust her bust line, I had a fun time drawing it.
Well, I'm glad you adjusted it digitally and you left the everything we like about a Joe Linsner piece in the traditional and unedited piece. That's good. But that is interesting, though. These things do happen, don't they, Joe? Every once in a while.
They do. And I kind of had a scratch in my head, like, well, I'm known for drawing a certain type of thing. What were they expecting? But whatever. I try to be accommodating.
Didn't they give you like a character sheet? Forward-facing view, a profile view with so you could get a feel for how large to make them. Must not have had enough character drawings for you.
Yeah, I mean they sent me a couple of comic books to look at, but I guess I took things in the wrong direction. But it was easily fixable in Photoshop.
Yeah. And you did the backgrounds on that one too. I mean, that seems like even a little more detailed than I'm used to seeing you do a digital background, but that's cool.
Yeah, and actually with the that background, the joys of Photoshop, I only had to draw a half circle of teeth and one eyeball, and by cloning and duplicating, I was able to come up with a whole field of eyeballs and teeth. Which, I mean, if you just, see the sheet of paper with the eyeballs, a half a circle of teeth and an eyeball, it's it's quite ridiculous looking. But when manipulated in Photoshop and spun around and enlarged and shrunk, and it comes together really nicely on the finished cover. But I do like the figure by herself also.
Yeah, no, I do as well. And Fat Dog said it's a fun book. They recommend it. Yeah,
and I see Rick Wilt says bloody hands are okay, but no large breasts. Yeah.
Well, hey, that I don't know. Bloody hands captures the theme of the character more than her brassiere size, apparently.
And this is America, where we just love violence, but Run
Yeah.
away from sexuality.
Right. We're learning that. We're reminded of that now every day. So this one's still out there, lot 5 at $1,800. Bunny mask, the hollow inside, #1 variant cover. Now we are moving on to this is like one of the few kind of by itself kind of pieces that we have today. That Frank Frazetta Death Dealer #2 cover. This one's priced at $3,500. Now, how did this come about?
Let's see, the publisher, Opus, they got the rights to do a Death Dealer comic, and there have been numerous Death Dealer comics over the years. And yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Frank Frazetta fan. He's my all-time favorite artist, and I was honored that they asked me to do a cover. So this was a thrill. This was great.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, the idea that have you ever done Death Dealer before? I mean, you probably were never asked to do a published version of Death Dealer before, or have you? And I didn't know it.
No, I never had the opportunity before. But yeah, with this, I wanted to do a fusion of my own work and Frazetta's. I didn't want to try to imitate Frazetta because that would look lame. But yeah, I wanted to, do a faithful homage. And I mean, if you look at the girl in the background, tried to capture those Frazetta eyes on her. And those are definitely Frazetta trees.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, this was fun. I love doing this.
No, I thought it was really cool when I saw it. It was a surprise though, because I had no idea that you had done a Frazetta published piece. So, I mean, was this recent? When was this done? I can't.
I think I did this last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and they got all the best people to do covers. Everybody from Bill Sienkiewicz to Liam Sharp. Yeah, they really went all out with lots of superstars for covers for the first couple of issues.
Oh, that's great.
And I was honored to be asked.
Well, that's you did a phenomenal job on it, and I love it.
Thanks, Bill. And actually, this weekend, what I have to do is a cover for Dynamite is going to be publishing a Fire and Ice comic book.
Really?
Yeah, which is the Frazetta cartoon, directed by Ralph Bakshi.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm going to be working on that this weekend.
Shoot, man, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite after Heavy Metal, probably my next favorite animated movie from that era. But that's Fire and Ice is cool. I've seen some of the Frazetta prelims that were done for that. Just really cool stuff. So I can only I'm not even going to try to imagine what something you're going to work on is going to look like from that. But that's going to be awesome to see. And like Fat Dog said, you get two full figures in this one. So this one is lot 6, priced at $3,500. And let's go ahead. And now we're going to do some John Carter cover images here, of course, featuring Deja Thoris. This is a Deja Thoris 2 cover. This is very current. This is lot 7, and it is priced at $3,000. So this really just came out earlier this year.
Yeah, I guess so. I think I actually did it maybe last October.
Oh, okay. Well, we had 2 people that were very interested in this one, and Sludgy 40 came in right ahead of Matthew W. I want to highlight that. And they literally came in just a few seconds apart. So that was very close. Thank you so much to Sludgy for getting it, and Matthew, we appreciate the interest in this piece. There will be others. There's actually several of these Deja Thoris or John Carter covers that we've got here. So congrats on that one. That's a beauty. I mean, and you can see the size of it. This one fills the page very nicely. I wasn't going to say presents well, just making sure. But she does. But here you go. I'm just making my note here. So Sludgy, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll just move right along to the next one then. So lot number 8. Yeah, let me go over to that one because this one is spectacular as well. It's priced at the same amount, $3,000. This is the cover to issue 3 from Deja Thoris. So again, something that just came out very recently, and I love this one. I love the background. I love the ship, and then I look over at the printed version, and I just love the way he handled the exhaust coming out of it. I mean, it's just a great all around image.
Well, thanks, Bill. Yeah, with these covers, a whacked out Victorian rocket ship. When else would I get the opportunity to draw that?
But was that the editorial direction?
I know things like that happen in the issue. And as I've said earlier, they give me a lot of freedom. I submitted the sketch, and they said, "Hey, that'd be great." So, this is how we got there.
Everybody's like, they can't see the ship. Okay, I get it, guys. I get it. There is a ship.
Where's the ship?
Oh man, but no, I like this one a lot. I mean, again, you balance out the page really well with the figure, and I mean, you get the best of both worlds. You get a nice view from behind, a view from the side. It's gorgeous.
And with John Carter and Deja Thoris, there's a stylized version of the hardware that like it's not Star Wars type of high tech. It's again more Victorian. Like that just seems to fit Deja Thoris and John Carter better.
It does, yeah, it really does.
If they were walking around in a more high tech Star Wars environment, I don't know. That would seem colder. It wouldn't seem as sensuous. But the curved sabers and the all the bits of stylization, her little tiara, that's all part of the whole John Carter picture, which I'm a huge John Carter fan. So,
well, I am.
So, I love doing these covers.
All right. Well, this one is still available. Of course, we'll recap everything at the end, everyone. So we'll be able to see it again one last time. So this is lot 8, priced at $3,000. Now we've got another one here. This is the cover to issue 5 from Deja Thoris. Now, I could not find the printed version of this one, so I assume it's probably not out yet.
It is not out yet. This one is. I think I did this one last month.
Wow. Well, this is lot 9, priced at $2,500. And now, did you have to airbrush this one at all, or is it okay to have those types of shadows in her chest area?
This was censored for the, or it will be censored when the actual cover sees print. So you're getting the rare glimpse right now of
the uncensored. Now, do you think it would? Now, you of course would give us the uncensored version when you do that art book, right? You would never show the censored version.
No, not an art book. No, an art book definitely demands, my favorite version of all the pieces. And my favorite version always has as much nudity as possible.
Well, thank you, Alberto Gonzalez, for picking that one up. Alberto, that's a beauty right there, my friend. And it's so new that there isn't a image out there of this piece because the cover has not been finalized. Although I'm sure you must know what it looks like, Joe, because you've probably done the digital work already for it.
I have. I believe the background has an amber fade put in it, if I remember correctly.
All right. Well, congrats, Alberto. We sincerely appreciate that one. Now, let's go ahead over to lot number 10. This one's priced at $3,000, and it's the cover to issue 4. Yeah, I'm jumping around here. I guess I could have kept them in issue order better, but I didn't. So this is the cover to issue 4. You get looks like we have a beheading of some sort right there, which is nice. And and again, I love the fact that it's got the 2 planets in there, the background. I know I'm looking at everything that isn't the character, right? I'm trying to focus on things other than talking about how beautiful the woman is, but it is difficult. But again, you look at that. I love the way you're playing with the green colors in the blade to the planets. I mean, it's just masterful that your color choices here that really kind of again, just stylize things. To me, it's like you already knew what you were going to do with the digital background, because the digital background that you put in with space has that kind of turquoise feel to it, that it wouldn't look quite right if it wasn't if you didn't add that same green to the planets and the blade. So
yeah, I try to get a sense of harmony, try to pull everything together. And when when putting the backgrounds in digitally, I'll sometimes experiment and say go with a purple instead of a green, and you can tell instantly whether or not it's gonna hold together, whether or not it's gonna glue together. And this actually the finished image was very, very clear in my head when I before I even started. And when I showed this to somebody, they pointed out the the Little Mermaid city in the background, which I don't think anybody could draw a city in a context like this without thinking of that famous Little Mermaid cover.
It's true. It's very, very true. Oh man, the audience is kind of on fire today. Number one Marvel fan says, "Bill, what size are these again, please?" Somebody reminded him that it was D size. So, but yeah, they are 11 by 17. Everybody else had it right. All right. So I know this one's fantastic. I love it. This is lot 10, priced at $3,000, and we'll see it in the recap unless anybody wants to claim it anytime before we get through all these. But now, next up, lot 11, a different perspective on Deja the Thoris. This is a alt cover to 5, priced at $2,000, and the published image is up there in the left-hand side. So, I'm assuming that when you get the editorial direction, they don't give you perspective concepts. You just kind of feel the need sometimes to turn things a little bit and look at a figure and a scene in a different way.
Yeah, like to mix things up. And Adam Hughes is brilliant at that, picking very interesting angles to show a pretty girl from. Not every angle is flattering for pinup art, but I hadn't really drawn too many covers with a worm's eye view. So yeah, this was fun.
Awesome. And Sludgy 40 has picked up another cover. Thank you so much, Sludgy. We appreciate it. I saw you said the last one was going to Macon, so I believe this one is as well. Fantastic. Nice debut. Yes, indeed, Wes Stefan. All right, well, we'll just keep this thing moving. We'll go to lot 12 now. Now I'm pretty sure that we have a few either Deja covers or John Carter covers later, but we're switching characters now, and we are going over to Draculina here. This is the cover to Blood Simple #2. And again, it's lot 12, priced at $1,800. We've got a few Draculina covers, I think 5. So this is the first of those. And, I hate to say I'm not familiar with Draculina, even though I know I probably should be, Joe. So maybe while we're looking at these 5 pieces, you can give me a slight education for me on the character.
Draculina, I believe, is part of the newly expanded Vampirella universe. And I don't know much more about her than that. I don't even know when she first appeared.
Okay. But you got the lucky job of doing the covers. So that's good.
Yeah, whenever possible, I do like to read the comic books I do the covers for. But sometimes things are produced on such a crazy deadline that, all I have is, maybe a little summary and some sketches. And I have to, leapfrog from there.
Well, there you go. Everybody says it's Vampirella's evil sister.
Oh, there you go.
She doesn't look as, Vampirella looks more evil than her, but, well, maybe not in a couple of these other covers coming up where she's taking care of business. But But yeah, no, this is a nice one. And so this one you can see, like I said, on the right hand side, I do show the scan of the full page, so you know what the shape, where the character is placed on this one. So she's probably about 8 or 9 inches tall on the 11x17 board, and just want to make that clear. I guess I think going forward, I'll probably somehow make a better note of that on these images so they know what the shape of the board is. But again, you see the cover; it's printed pretty much identical to that. So this is lot 12, priced at $1,800. Oh, and John says that Draculina's first book came out in 2022.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Blondes are never evil, says Mr. Easy-Go-Lucky. Okay, I'll believe you.
First appearance was in Vampirella 2 from 1969.
Interesting. See, no, I guess I didn't read it. I haven't read enough Vampirella. But there you go. This one is still out there and priced at $1,800. Next up is lot 13. Well, this one's priced at $3,000. It's the cover to Draculina Blood Simple 3. And you've got, this one, you've pretty much filled the page outside of the, what's behind her. But, that was done digitally. But it's pretty cool that he did the whole doorway and, got her in there. The lighting on this is pretty unique. I think you've kind of got her lit from the back, which is not an easy task to do, I think, as an artist. I'm sure, but maybe it's easy for you, Joe. But you make it look easy.
Well, thanks. I keep trying to push myself and trying to do things that I haven't done before. And, with most covers, the standard thing is to have a spotlight on the main character. And then, have bits in the background fall into shadow. But, I've been able to experiment and do backlighting. Like, I don't think I would ever be this brave with a Dawn cover. But being as, I was asked to do, I think 6 covers for the Draculina series. So it's like, okay, how do I keep this interesting? How do I mix things up? And the doorway with the backlighting, I thought was a cool concept.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And so on this one, do you always go into a piece like this knowing what you're going to do in the background when you do it digitally, or do you, or sometimes you just kind of figure it out once you get to that point?
Little of both. I think this, I had a vague idea. I didn't know if I was going to go more towards the blue side or more towards the green side. The figure is very warm with lots of red in it, so I wanted to go in the opposite direction with the background to have a nice contrast. You always want the foreground coming towards you, and you want the background receding. And reds and blacks always pop up forward, and then blues and greens push forward into the distance more.
Well, I love this one a lot. And so, the figure is warm. All right. That's right, Alberto. Well, this is lot 13, still available, priced at $3,000. And we'll take a look now at lot 14, another Draculina cover. This is the cover to Blood Simple 4. This one's priced at $2,000. And, she might be a little evil, I guess, at this point. Maybe he enjoyed it. I don't know.
Sucker.
So this is a recent piece, right? Done this year.
I think it did this in January.
Oh wow! But nicely done, nicely lit. Again, she's taking care of business. And again, price. This one's at $2,000 for lot 14. And he. I didn't say it. Wes said it. She sucks. I didn't say it. Yeah, exactly. But I like this one a lot too. Black collars this time. Okay, Marcus. But not nicely done. And on this one, you get it looks like a telephone pole and a dead body along with it. So what more can you ask for? So 2 figures in this one, everybody. We don't get too many 2-figure cover pieces. So again, lot 14, priced at $2,000 on Draculina. And big fans in the shop watching today. That's good to hear. Gotham City Comics. We like to hear that. Yeah. See, the chat usually writes the best jokes here. Mr. Rejek said the sign on the door said no solicitations. That will teach him.
Yeah.
Yep, he learned his lesson. Take those Avon products away. Don't come back. All right, so this one's still available at $2,000. We got lot 15 next, the Covered of Blood Simple 5. You can see the printed image up in the left there. This one's a lot of fun. I love the headstones on here. You get 3 flavors of headstone there, two with crosses, 1 without. Thank goodness for her. I like this one. She's pretty sexy on this one. It's I said sexy for the first time today, everybody. It took me 15 lots to get there, but this is lot 15, priced at $2,000, and just a very classic pose. Oh, I'm making Michael Callahan's wife crack up. I like to hear that. All right. But yeah, this is a gorgeous image. It really is. And the thing that's cool to me is, the textures on those headstones, man. You could have looked at that and done that in Photoshop, but you did them traditionally. And I mean, they're stunning. You've got the weathered vibe going on there with those streak marks on them. I mean, shoot, it's awesome.
Oh, thank you, Bill. And yeah, this, she's a vampire. Got to put her in a graveyard sometime.
Exactly. Here lies Draculina. All right. Yep. So yeah, Dave, exactly. The texture on the stones. See, I keep focusing on everything but the character. But I already said she was sexy in this one, so I don't have to focus on her any more than that. So, all right, this one's still out there too. It's lot 15, priced at $2,000. We're almost halfway through the cover lots here. We have 34 to get through. So this is, I believe, the final Draculina cover that we've got. This lot 16, priced at $2,500. And it's the cover to issue 6. So new that I was not able to find a printed cover image out there. But yeah, this is see, I can't even talk about backgrounds on this one because you didn't paint any. So all I can talk about is her. She looks very relaxed. Like if I wish I started every morning like this stretching, I'd probably be a lot happier. But but yeah, this is the chat is definitely on fire here. But yeah, she's got back, but it's a great image, man. I mean, this is you paint women like nobody else, Joseph. I mean, okay, like you mentioned, Adam Hughes. He does a nice female figure as well. But since your stuff is always full color, I mean, that's what just kind of blows my mind always, is that's your approach. And it's just, it's just so cool. I mean, that's why it's really nice. To me, seeing those black and white pieces that we auctioned off earlier was kind of cool, because I'm not used, just never used to seeing that. I'm just used to always seeing figures drawn incredibly well, shaped like they're supposed to, got curves in all the right places, and just masterfully done.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, somebody said she's auditioning for a Whitesnake video.
Oh, I missed that one. That's true. That is very, very true. Oh, Philip Bladen. That's so
no background. True. That's funny.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. I can imagine her on a World War II jet fighter. Absolutely. Frank Cho would approve. Sure. Yeah, of course.
Well, you mentioned Adam Hughes, and one of the wonderful things about Adam's work is that Adam has his own tastes, and his he likes very athletic girls with more upper body strength than I would ordinarily draw. And I think art is strongest when it's very personal, when it's somebody following their vision. And other people, plenty of people at this point, have been trying to steal Adam's style, but the core of it, that's his taste and his take on his feminine ideal, and it's beautiful. It's a fantastic thing. If you look at somebody like Serpieri, the guy who draws Druna, he loves big butts, and so he follows his muse, and that's his thing. And with me, I have my own tastes in in feminine beauty, and yeah, I'm trying to just do my thing, man.
Well, you do your thing very well. So lot 16 still available at $2,500. We'll move on to let's see, lot 17, and this is going to be the Hell Sonja. So this is a Red Sonja Hell Sonja #1 cover image, and nicely done. I mean, that you put a lot of effort in the digital background on this one too. I see, but this, I love her figure. I figure this had to be a bit of a challenge because you're having to play around with different tones, but maybe it wasn't. I mean, now that I've seen you do the black and white interior stuff, maybe the skin tone on this one really didn't frighten you in the least when you tackled this image.
No. This was just fun. With Hell Sonja, her hair is supposed to be on fire, and with her, the trick is always like, well, how literal do you get with that? Is her head luminescent? Does light, radiate from her head if her head's on fire? And I kind of, tease at that. I don't, it varies from piece to piece, just how luminous her hair is. But yeah, with this piece, I wanted a very cathedral-like feeling for the background. With that kind of splintered, stained glass. And so, yeah, I like the way the finish cover came together. But yeah, I'm actually really proud of her figure. I think she's really sexy here.
She definitely is. And nice to have Neil in the chat as well. Thanks for joining us today. So yes, Sonja does her crunches, says T-Tad. But yeah, I love this. And I love the detail you put in everything. The sword's pretty. See, I'm always looking to something else here. The sword's really great. The armor's really great. I try to avoid talking about how beautiful the figures are. But again, it's all that extra little details that you put into this stuff, Joe, that just makes it fun, uniquely you. And it seems like you take the same amount of care in that sword as you do in rendering the figure too, which is nice. It's not like an afterthought. It's really to you an important visual element to the artworks that you put together.
Well, yeah, I love details. I don't want to get too lost in them because I actually don't like art that's just all about an accumulation of details. I much prefer art that has some feeling, some soul, and in the stuff that I am personally drawn towards, it's more about what's been captured, what the artist was trying to convey, and details. Anybody could do lots of details. It's just a matter of time. Are you willing to spend 40 hours on a piece? And if so, then anybody could, draw like a very detailed bookshelf. That, that type of stuff doesn't impress me.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. Redjick wants me to let it out. Yes, she is smoking hot. I can say that. Literally, you're right. You guys got it. You nailed it perfectly. So this is lot 17, priced at $1,800. I've got another, I think the one other Hell Sonja cover here, which is going to be lot 18. And this one's priced at $1,800 as well. This is the cover to issue 2, an incentive cover, I guess, from Midtown, at least on the version that I pulled the image from. It might have been used a few other ways, but for this one, it mentioned that when I got the published image in the upper left there. I mean, again, it's fun, but now you've got the sword with a little bit of flame on it. Nice pose on the figure, and yeah, and a little bit more fire or flame in her hair.
Yeah, and actually this time I experimented and put more of a green tint on her armor.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I didn't even notice that because the other one was much more silver.
Yeah, Hell Sonja is fun to draw because it's a funhouse mirror version of Red Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
And I could draw Red Sonja all day long.
There you go. Yeah, Dwayne Zapane said that you draw horny gals really well. Yes, she's got a nice pair of horns. You are very right. Oh man, but so on this one, Neil wanted to know. We can talk about this too as we're going to transition to the next piece. But Neil wanted to know what artists influenced you growing up, Joe. I'm sure quite a few. I mean, I know you've been a comics reader for years.
Yeah, I grew up with comic books. I can't remember a time when I didn't have comic books around. So at first, in the very early '70s, I love my Batman comics, and at a young age, I discovered Conan. So yeah, I mean, I was like probably 5 or 6 years old when I started reading Conan comics, and John Buscema, still one of my all-time favorite artists. The man was a genius, and one of the first Conan comics I read was actually Savage Sword of Conan #5, where Conan's crucified, and John Buscema, inked by mostly by Tony DeZuniga on that issue. It's like one of my all-time favorite comic books. I read that a couple times a year, probably break that out and just sit down and get lost in it. I love the John Byrne X-Men. Love the Dave Cockrum X-Men. His original run. That stuff had a really strong impact on me. And when I draw Wolverine, I still, in the back of my head, I have Dave Cockrum's Wolverine as a compass in my head for how Wolverine should look.
Well, I like hearing that because I always talk about Dave Cockrum being one of my favorite X-Men artists, and he to me he was a genius, one of the best costume designers in the business as far as superhero characters go. But I loved his the quality of his work. I mean, I know it's you put it up against Byrne. I mean, there's no sense in comparing the two, because they both have their distinctive styles. But Dave was always like he was my favorite, even over John. So yeah.
And one of these days, when I get around to it, the famous Slurpee cup illustration that Dave Cockrum did with the old X-Men and the new X-Men.
Yes,
one of these days, I'm gonna paint that. I'm gonna recreate that.
Oh my gosh!
Because I love that image. I've always loved that image, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, when you do that, you should definitely do process shots. Do you do anything like that? Like kind of like
I do
step by step. I mean, that would be something that would be real. I mean, as a Marvel guy and an X-Men guy, I would love to see something like that, just to see how you worked your way through the planning stage, like you mentioned with the ballpoint pens and all, and that like that, and then getting into actually doing all the detail work. I'd love to see that.
And that would be a fun thing to chronicle because, gosh, what are there, like 12 or 13 different characters on that?
Exactly. I mean, I can't even imagine. Well, I mean, I can't imagine. You got to do it. I mean, I know that's a big private personal piece to tackle, but man, Joe, that would be pretty amazing.
Well, there are a couple of guys doing really cool things. Alex Ross, of course, he'll paint over a Jack Kirby thing, and I love what he does with Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Jusko has been doing the corner symbols of the classic Marvel stuff, and I'm so jealous of that. That's like such a brilliant idea. And he's done such a great job with all of them. I wish I had thought of that. Because, those corner symbols, they're like so ingrained in my mind, and just, taking those things and bringing it up to the level of a painting is like so clever.
No.
So yeah, with that X-Men thing, one of these days, I gotta take a week out of my schedule and say, damn it, I'm going to do that. And just for the fun of it.
Well, there'll be a lot of people interested in that piece, whether you keep it for yourself or you sell it. You won't have any problem because that's a very memorable image. And those of us who are in our I'm 55 now. We remember the.
Hey, happy birthday!
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's that's like ingrained in us, right? I mean, and I was buying comics off the spinner rack when I was getting those cups. I remember back in the day, I'd take pictures of my comic collection. It was always right next to those cups. I'd have the cups around it, my stack of comics, and maybe like Michael Golden's Mary Marching Marvel poster on the wall behind that. You know what I mean? It was like my shrine.
So did you have the original, the Sal Q Michael Golden poster?
I got the one that came in. I used to have it sitting around here. It was actually in a back in the day, everything was like you get mail order catalogs, right? And there was a company, it might have been out of Texas, that had like a trifold. So that when one side of the poster was ads for buying comic books, just row after row of their prices and everything, but the inside of it was that poster. So I'll have to dig that up. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I knew it was sitting, because I've been unpacking since the move, and that was one of the things I came across recently. But
yeah, I think those things are highly sought after these days. The original printing of the poster.
Oh heck yeah, absolutely.
He's another genius, Michael Golden. I was there for the Micronauts when they first started coming out, and his work consistently blows my mind, and he just keeps getting better and better. He's amazing. Very nice guy, also.
Well, I agree. Yes, we are. We're still hip to other people of our same age, but anyway, all right, let's get back on track here. I'm sorry, but no, that sounds really cool, Joe. I mean, I would love to see that piece when you do it. So you try to set time, time for doing that. All right, here, let's see. I know we're just past the halfway mark here, so let's go ahead and take a look at lot 19 now. This is from Immortal Red Sonja, and this is the issue 10 cover. And this one's priced $4,500, and it is the priciest piece we have today. But I mean, it's a fully finished. You maybe did something digitally, but I couldn't tell when I looked at the published cover. I mean, this is just a fully finished piece, and damn, man, I mean, you put a lot of work in this one. I mean, we were talking about the textures on the headstones before on the Draculina piece, but I mean, this one's just got, you got the textures on the wall, you got the wood grain, you got the skull. It's beautiful. I mean, I'd hate to say, man, you should always work like this, Joe, but I'm sure this piece took a little bit longer than the pieces where you kind of go back in and do the backgrounds digitally.
I mean, I wish I did have enough time to do everything this way, but this was the last issue of the series, and with the Immortal Red Sonja series, they gave her original Barry Smith outfit with the chainmail shirt, and this was going to be the last issue where she was going to be wearing that outfit. So I really wanted to aim for the fences and hit a home run with this one. And that's why I did the full background and everything.
Well, you definitely did. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece, and I love this one. That's why when you sent it, I was like, I'm glad you sent me this one to use as the the graphic on the show too, because again, it's awesome. I love that her top in this one, and see, she's it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The cleft skull, yeah, she probably did that.
Whack.
Yep, not but yeah, this is a beauty. It really is, and nice to see. And I get it. You can't, like, with as prolific as you are with covers, you can't always be doing edge to edge work on all the pieces. But I'm glad you did on this one.
Yeah, and the whole history of comic books is things getting done against the deadline, and that's why on 99% of the comic books that are produced, they're put together assembly line. You'll have Jack Kirby, who he's the idea man, and then he'll pencil something and then hand it off to the inker and then the colorist. If it was one guy doing everything, if Jack Kirby had if he had to ink and then color all his own stuff, he would not have gotten even a third as much done as he actually got done during his lifetime.
No, very true. That is very true. Same thing with Buscema, right? John Buscema's, when he was working with an inker who he knew he had familiarity with, he could be a little looser in his pencils sometimes. I mean, it's just how all that worked, right? Yeah,
and I believe I read somewhere that John Buscema aimed to do 5 to 7 pages a day. Which is like so insane. That's like such an incredible amount of work. And also, with Buscema, like, and with Jack Kirby, this high level of quality. That's the amazing part: the quantity and the quality. Because any moron could do 7 pages a day, but it won't look good. But to do 7 or 5 good-looking pages a day, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, because I think that when you had teams of that were so used to working together, whether like John Buscema with Sinnott or even sometimes his brother inking him, I mean, it had to have made the process easier with people who had longstanding, penciling and inking relationships, for back in the day. But I agree, Kirby and John Buscema were just insane with the amount of work that they put out. So this one's still available, lot 19, $4,500. I've got a couple of Purgatory covers coming up next. So lot 20 is from Purgatory Must Die #1. This one's priced at $1,800, and you can see the published image in the upper left and the full page art over there on the right. So Purgatory, had you done Purgatory pieces before?
I think 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I did a cover for Vampirella versus Purgatori. And then, I don't think I drew Purgatory at all when she was owned by Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Although I can't be sure. Yeah, one of the one of the downsides of being so prolific is things sometimes fall between the cracks. And one of the cool things about doing shows is having people bring things up to me that I haven't seen in 20 years. And it's like, holy cow, I forgot I did this. That happens a lot more these days.
Right. Well, the longer you're in the business, the more you're going to forget, I have a feeling.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of that is me being prolific and how much of it is just brain damage. I don't know.
I hear you, man. The older I get, I'm starting to feel it, just a little bit more every year, forgetting a few things, but it is what it is. We can't go back in time. So this is lot 20, priced at $1,800. Well, here you go. Neil mentions that Joe did a commission of Purgatory for him back in 2011. So
oh, wow. That's right.
Ago. Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll go over to the next one now. Lot 20. This one is priced at, or 21. Sorry. This is lot 21, priced at $2,500. Same book, Purgatory Must Die. This is the cover to issue 3. And again, it's fun on this one just because it has the extra, granite, I don't know, rail of some kind, just on a bridge or something here. It's just cool. I love it when you have the time to work on those extra details in a piece.
Yeah, and as much as possible, I like to put the elements on the actual cover, the actual piece.
Mm-hmm.
So that the original displays nicely as well. Yeah, and this I came up with a sketch of Purgatory leaning back, and of course if you're leaning back, you have to be leaning on something. So I had to put that kind of bridge railing in there.
No, works well. And yeah, I mean, and again, just looking at this, I'm just reminded we should all be thankful that Nick Barucci and Dynamite have been giving you all these, these great books to work on, to do all this cover work. I mean, it's just fantastic. I think that I'm sure for you, it's nice to have like a regular publisher to be working with, but at the same time, it's the business is so tough as it is. So it's nice when you have somebody who depends on you and appreciates your work. And again, so to me, it's like, I think we all should be thankful when people like that are helping you put more of your work out there. And so, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. And I'm very happy with my relationship with Dynamite. I know there have been certain editors in the business who I shall not name, who for one reason or another just didn't like my work. And, they wouldn't tell me directly, but they would tell friends of mine, like, oh yeah, I know, Linsner would sell copies, but I just don't like his work. And it's like, thanks a lot,
Right. That's well, but it all, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do, right? Because all art is subjective at the end of the day. Even we as art collectors, you kind of, one guy looks at this and it's his holy grail, right? And then the next guy looks at the same thing and it's like, well, okay, I mean, there, it's that's the tough part. But that's why I'm saying it's such a cutthroat business, because you're having to appeal to people who have to look at it and say, is this marketable? Will this person help market a book? But again, that's why I think it's great that your relationship with Dynamite is what it is. And like Fat Doc says, screw those guys. We love your
Screw
work.
those guys. Well,
Right.
one of the hurdles in the business is we all love these characters. We love Batman and Wolverine and everybody, and the editors are the guard dogs of these characters. And if you want to work on these characters, you got to appeal to the editors. And I remember after Cry for Dawn, my first company went belly up. I went up to Marvel, and at the time, Marvel was publishing an anthology. I think it was Marvel Comics Presents. It was a monthly anthology, and it had, I think 4 different stories in each issue. And I talked to the editor about doing a Killraven story for that magazine, and the editor's like, "Oh, they killed off Killraven." And I'm like, "No, they didn't kill him off. I would have known that. I buy every goddamn Killraven comic book." And he just, had no interest. And he's like, "Oh, well, Killraven's a science fiction character. You have to talk to our science fiction editor." And I'm like, "But you guys don't have a science fiction anthology." Like, well, can't help you then.
Right, you're out of luck.
A couple of years later, Jimmy Palmiotti and Joe Quesada started the Marvel Knights line, and it was purely through Jimmy, saying, "Hey, Joe, what do you want to do?" And I said, "I would love to do a Killraven one shot." And he's like, "Okay, let's do it." And thank God that Jimmy pulled through for me.
Well, that's awesome. No, Jimmy, when they did Marvel Knights, I thought that was awesome. It was a good turning point in the company. I think it's definitely reinvigorated the Marvel audience in a lot of ways to pull back into the books after the 90s kind of went,
yeah, and
kind of a bust.
It I think it was just bad editing on Marvel Comics got really awful for a while there.
They did.
And I love those characters, and it was actually kind of depressing to go to the comic store and like, not wanting to buy any of that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, well, let's keep this. We got a few more pieces to look at here. 13 more, I believe, to be exact. So lot 22. This is one of 2 Sheena covers that we've got. The other one will be seen a little bit later. But this is the cover to Sheena 1, done in 2023. This is, again, lot 22, priced at $2,500. And I like this one. I love the window. I love how you treated the tree in the background. I'm always talking about everything but the beautiful woman in front of me. I don't know why that is. I think it's like that 12-year-old in me who accidentally picked up a Playboy and really just couldn't look at the figure because he was too ashamed. It's not like that, though, I promise you. But I love this one. A moonlit night. I don't know whose shirt that is with a tie on it, but again, this is it's just beautiful. You got the figure lit up properly by the moon. I mean, it's a gorgeous image. It almost should be a Hallmark card, except she's got a knife in her hand, right?
Well, she is Sheena,
of course,
and that's actually her shirt in the foreground, because the storyline on this deals with Sheena going back to America and going back to school. I think she goes back to boarding school.
Oh, see, I love it. Because I have not read Sheena, but that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I love that.
So the scene here is her, taking off her school uniform, and she's about to, go out and have a wild night in the moonlight.
Well, that's I love this image, and congrats to James Bella for picking this one up. I mean, it is a gorgeous image, it really is.
Very nice.
Yeah, congratulations. And yep, I read the articles in Playboy. That is very true. All right, next up, this is lot 23. This is from Vampirella versus Red Sonja. This is the cover to issue 5, done in 2022. This is priced at $3,000. and they're not. I don't see a lot of verses going on in this one. Nobody's, they're not fighting in this one. They're just kind of hanging out together. But it's cool. This is one of the few 2-figure pieces that we have that doesn't involve somebody losing a head or dying in it.
Yeah, I think for the last issue of the series, the girls had worked out their differences.
That's right. Yes, that is very true. And Matthew W., thank you so much. This is this is a beautiful piece. One of my favorites in the set that we're looking at today. So congrats. Yeah, you made it. You made the right choice on this one. It's gorgeous.
Very nice.
And yeah, because the next couple images, they're still working out their differences. So let me go ahead and we'll switch over to lot 24 here. And I think we get to see, well, 24 and 25 kind of go hand in hand, or head in hand, I guess it might be the appropriate way to say it. It's lot 24. This one's priced at $2,500. It's the cover to Vampirella versus Red Sonja issue 2. And we have a beheading here with Vampirella on the wrong side of this one. And I don't know who Red Sonja is talking to, but she is definitely letting them know that she is large and in charge in this one.
She's talking to you, Bill.
She definitely
You're next.
is. Right, exactly. Don't mess with me. And we've got this one claimed as well from Justin Porter. So thank you so much, Justin. Again, this
nice.
is a really, really powerful image. And, and again, it's just, I love the expression on her face in this one. She is pissed. And you don't mess with Red Sonja.
I had a lot of fun with the green skin tone on Vampirella's severed head.
Yeah, that's true, because we're going to see that same thing on the next one here. So let me go ahead and hide this comment and switch over to lot 25. And here we go. This is the cover to Vampirella versus Red Sonja 3. And we have Red Sonja now beheaded on this one. And Vampirella seems very, pleased with herself on this one. We don't know how she beheaded Red Sonja, but we can only guess. But it's a wonderful image, Joe.
Thank you, Bill. And I went with a colder skin tone on Red Sonja's severed head.
All right, and this one has been claimed by Tony New York Jr. And we thank you for that, Tony. Another fantastic image. And, again, this is awesome. This is really just a lovely piece of art. And I thank everyone for picking that or being interested in all these today so far. And just don't forget, I will give you the information on how we'll set up payment at the end of the show. If anybody has to leave, please let me know, and I'll remind you basically what you need to do. You need to email me at the end of the day, but just to let me know if you have to go early, and we will I'll give you this skinny on what we're doing here. We can jump over to the next one in a second, but there was a question, I know it comes up quite a bit, you probably get asked about this all the time, but from Kevin Handry, asked will we ever see Dawn again? And I know that we talked about that earlier. You're working on something, but you probably don't have I don't believe you have a deadline or when we're going to see something for sure, right?
By the end of this year, there's a Dawn 40-page special I'm working on.
Okay.
And that'll definitely come out by the end of this year. And then next year, I really want to get the next Dawn series finally out there, because I've had it written for a while, and I just have to draw it. I mean, I have a lot of it laid out, and it's actually the next series is pretty epic. It's pretty amazing. I waited a long time to get to it, but it's finally all crystallized in my mind's eye, and it's going to be good.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. Again, you let me know. I'll be happy to plug anything you need, Joe.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's see here. We've got a few more to look at here. This next one is, that's right. It's the Elvira piece. So this is lot 26, priced at $4,000. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, issue 5 cover. And I love this one, man. I love, again, I keep looking to I know the figure is gorgeous. She's, it's Elvira. She's got a lot of assets always, but I love what you did with the, with the vapor coming out of the mug. I mean, it's cool, man. And it looks like, on this one, it's, so you did the backgrounds too. I mean, are the backgrounds airbrushed? How did you do this?
Yeah, this is airbrush, the background.
Uh-huh.
Which, doing a deep red airbrush background, that's always a lot of work, and I end up sneezing red for a couple of days afterwards, even with wearing a mask. But yeah, I'm actually fond of this one, and I loved painting the Elvira covers. They were fun and silly, because Elvira is fun and silly.
Have you ever met her at a show? I mean, maybe
I have not. Christina got to go and talk to her at a show a year or two ago, and Jesus Christ, no, it's more like 4 or 5 years ago. It was one of the last shows Elvira did in costume, because I think she would like do one day as Cassandra Peterson, and then one day in the Elvira costume. And I think it was one of the last times she did that. And Christina got to go and talk to her, and I was stuck drawing at the table. But I understand she's a great person. She's lots of fun and very friendly.
That's exactly what I've heard. I mean, I've seen other artists, like I think Joe Jusko, has met her a few times at shows, takes pictures. I mean, it's always kind of a cool thrill, right? I mean, she's such an iconic person, and like you just said, I mean, to have had the opportunity to do some covers with her is pretty awesome. But I wanted to thank Brett Midori for picking that one up. That it's a beauty, and somebody said it should be a Halloween card. Absolutely.
That would make a nice card.
Well,
I think my first Elvira painting was purchased by Wayne Musso, and Wayne actually got Elvira to pose holding the painting.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. I should share that on social media at some point.
I would love to see that. That would be really cool. All right. Well, again, thank you so much to Brett for picking this one up. So we've got a few more to look at here. We're going to switch over to some Invincible Red Sonja here for lot 27. This is the cover to issue 1. See the printed image on the left. There's a giant skull there, so everybody knows I could never own this artwork, but it's not on the art itself. But this is nice. It's a complete image. You get the 2 dead figures in the background. You got Red Sonja being all tough. This one's priced at $3,000 for lot 20. Now this is from 2021, so a couple years ago. But I mean, do you feel like I look at this one and it doesn't, it seems like maybe you're doing the figures a little differently, or maybe that just fit the way these books were drawn. And I say that only in like I'm seeing more darks in this particular image, and maybe just fit the image better where you were highlighting her with blacks rather than a color.
Well, with just like with Bettie Page, the challenge is how can I do something iconic and yet put a different spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first issue, wanted her to look strong yet sexy, and wanted a nice iconic pose. So to make it different, I took my Frazetta juice that day and really went for the deep Frazetta shadows. And one of the amazing things about Frazetta was his theatrical lighting. If you look at all the best Frazetta pieces, they're really set up like stage pieces with a spotlight either right on the figure or some side lighting, but some very high contrast lighting on the main figure, and then all the rest of it falls into shadow, and your eye instantly is drawn towards where the spotlight is. And so yeah, this I totally had Frazetta in mind with this, and I was like, okay, let's see, how far can I push those shadows? And I did that a lot with this run of Red Sonja.
Yeah, I remember looking at a lot of these, and it had that same kind of feel. So that's interesting. I mean, it felt it has a slightly different feel to it. And if, like you mentioned, if you're channeling Frazetta in the way he handled the figure and lighting on it, I can see that. And this one, she's very sinewy too. You kind of went for a very muscular. You were talking earlier about just doing things a little different. But I mean, with Red Sonja, if she's handling a blade, she's not a soft, delicate Bettie Page type. She's definitely she's equipped to handle something like that.
yeah, I definitely give her more defined musculature in her arms, because it fits the character, you know. And my Red Sonja is always all scarred up and all cut up, because if you're living in a Conan like world, you're gonna get scratched up and
Oh
and
yeah, you're not going to end up looking pretty. But hey, I want to thank Alberto for that claim. Thank you so much, Alberto. That's another great piece, second one that you've picked up today. And I saw that James Bella had to head out, and he's already sent his email for his piece. I can confirm it. I see it over there for lot 22. But Joey's got to go. Shout out to Scott's 9 inches. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I want to know what that means. But there you have it. So. But thank you, James Bella, and a nice pick there with Stan Lee.
Is that a Scott Miller from Long Island reference? I gotta wonder.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. But yeah, see, that reminds me. I never show this off, but here, my one time. Well, I got to hang out with Stan a few different times. But here's my. I should make that like my picture one day. I got to hang out with Stan Lee on a boat one time. Just for fun, thanks to the Hero Initiative. But and James Bella says yes, it's related to that. So you knew what he was talking about.
Very nice, very nice.
But thank you so much, James. We really appreciate it, and you got a great piece of art too. So I'll
tell Scott I said hi if you see him.
There you go. And I'll shoot you an email after we're done with the show. So thank you, James. All right. Well, let's take a look at lot 28 here. And it's another one from Invincible Red Sonja. This is the cover to issue 2. And I mean, I love the way the printed image ended up being with her over the logo like that. I mean, when she's, in battle, I mean, again, the same kind of lighting that you did and the way you kind of highlighted or, did the shadows on this one. Again, I love this piece. They fit together really well, as your approach to these pieces. And this one's priced at $3,000. And I like the fact that you made all the villains monotone, right, in their own way. So it just focuses in even more on Red Sonja. But this is I think she's taken 2 heads off with this swing.
And again, thinking of Frazetta. Frazetta always played with color, always for dramatic effect.
Oh, definitely.
And, you'd see little, bits of green or purple show up on figures that, logistically, didn't make any sense, but it somehow fit. And with all the guys being somewhat monotone, it was all about, what's going to get the viewer's eyes to go boom right to Red Sonja first.
Well, it definitely worked. And again, it's almost like a movie poster, the way that the logo is behind her. It's like I could see it being animated, her coming in and then cleaving off some heads and some blood drops all over the place. But yeah, but you capture the right moment, right before all the bloodshed happens. I mean, she doesn't have any blood on her yet. This is just the start of the battle.
The party's just starting.
The party's just getting underway. But yeah, so this one's lot 28, priced at $3,000. Again, the cover to Invincible Red Sonja number 2. So let's take a look. I think we're moving. Well, no, we have one more Red Sonja. That's right. This is lot 29, and now so this is just straight Red Sonja, not Invincible Red Sonja. This is the cover to Red Sonja 23, and this one's priced $3,000. And I like this one. All the other sets, the villains in the images were kind of dark. I like the fact that you went with a purple tone on them here. It kind of lends itself to using some like different colors in Red Sonja, more orange tones in the flesh and everything. It just, again, makes this as a work of art just a really, really nice image, even though you have a decapitation and a gentleman with with a sword stuck through his throat. There's like hints of Corbin in this imagery, right? I mean, it's
cool.
It's really, really fun, and I just see a lot of cool stuff, and I'm sure you just channel it, right? I mean, because it's like you said, there's lots of artists that you've looked at and probably seen and absorbed, and then sometimes things just kind of come out. But yeah, I love this image; it's beautiful.
Thank you, Bill, and Corbin. I've spent 10 million hours staring at Richard Corbin's work. He's definitely one of my heroes. I think he's one of the true geniuses of the form. His stuff just radiated so much personality, and his technique was amazing. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, to hear that something invokes Corbin, that's a fantastic compliment.
well, no, I mean he's one of my artistic heroes as well. I love his work. You look at it and it's just an approach to his style that I'm just like, gosh, how do you think like that? How do you approach figure work like that? He was a genius, he really was. And yeah, one of these days I've always wanted to do like kind of artist bio shows where we show off work and bring on a few people who are experts and can talk, constructively about people, and creators who we admire. But Corbin would be somebody who I'd love to do a show about, just because he's such a unique talent and he kind of maintained that uniqueness throughout his entire career. I mean, I love his early work, I love his later work, and yeah, just definitely a master of the craft who we recently lost too. So it's yeah, I mean, we'll never get any more work from that guy. But I mean, shoot, he shaped my. I mean, when I went to, I didn't know Corbin's work until I went to see the heavy metal movie at the theater. It was a movie that my parents wouldn't even take me to. They made like the neighbor next door take me to see heavy metal, and I was just like, man, I love this stuff. That's I got turned on to Wrightson from that, and Corbin, and yeah, I love all that stuff. So. So I think that might be the last Red Sonja piece that we've got. We've got a, let's see, this is from John Carter of Mars, is lot 30. This one's priced at $3,000. It's the cover to issue 4. John Carter is nowhere to be seen, and it's okay because we've got a lovely Deja Thoris here with stars twinkling in her hair. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I love her, the green eyeshadow. It complements the green in her translucent top, and again, you get a lot of great backgrounds on this one. I mean, it feels very much like a complete piece with the with the lunar the Mars landscape behind her, and the beheading and the swords. I mean, it's a great image, and the color image is great too. But this is a beauty.
Yeah, and I think the alien guys with the forearms, I think they're called Tharks.
Tharks, yes. That is correct. Thank you for that. I'm always forgetting that, but yeah, no, it's a great image. I mean, I really like this one a lot. And another amazing one, says Mr. Easy Go Lucky. Queen Violet says, "Wow, I've always loved your work since Dawn in a local grocery store back in the day." Hard to imagine, Well, I mean, we had to buy our comics in drugstores and whatnot. I guess I could see. But Dawn making it to, you think Dawn would have only been in comic shops, right? But I guess maybe it could have worked its way into other retail locations.
Yeah, why not? Must have been a very cool grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I hope it had been like a Whole Foods for back in the day. But no, that's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and with my version of Deja Thoris, she's supposed to be naked in the books, but can't very well, put that on the cover of a comic book. And what a lot of guys have done over the years, including Frazetta, is the whole golden pasty look.
Yeah.
Which that really confounded the heck out of me as a kid. Like, how do those stay on? Like, do they glue these metal discs onto their breast? Like, what's that all about? But for years, that was, the acceptable way to show a naked girl. You just give her, golden pasties. I always thought it was kind of silly. So I prefer to give her like kind of a gossamer top, which, is as close to naked as I could make her and still get her on the cover of a magazine.
Well, you did a fantastic job. I wish, well, no, I'm not even going to say that because it would get me in trouble here at the house. So, but yeah, I love this image a lot. And again, just another exemplary piece that is all you, Joe. So this is lot 30, still available at $3,000. We've got 4 more pieces to look at. There is one more John Carter of Mars piece. This one here, lot 31, priced at $3,000. This is the cover to issue 2, and another beheaded Thark. But fun here. You got you got the columns. You got a different perspective on Deja Thoris on this one. So it's fun, full figure. I mean, covers most of the page there, and really it is because of the way you've done the floor here. I mean, it's an edge to edge piece. I mean, even though the floor was colored digitally, I mean, this is gorgeous. And yeah, I bet if I could look closer at the detail on the printed piece, we're going to see they had to use a little Photoshop on that one.
Yes, yeah, her Minority bits are visible on the original, but not so on the printed cover.
There you go. It's I love it. I love it. So Queen Violet says it was a big star in Mississippi, and in Wizard Magazine you saw it. All right, well that makes sense that a Wizard Magazine would be in a grocery store, definitely. But yeah. Tony New York Jr. says everything is amazing. I wish I could buy it all. Yeah, I completely agree. I understand the feeling. But yeah, this is a beauty. So this is the last Stage Thoris image on a cover that we've got. This is lot 31, priced at $3,000. Now this next one is the last Sheena piece that we've got. This is Sheena, Queen of the Jungle from issue 3. Cover image of that. This one's priced at $2,500. Again, fun composition. I wish I was able to find the version with the logo on it to show the printed one, but yeah, I mean, I like this. I like the whole composition of this piece. I like the fact that you chose to paint the mountains in the background, and again, these are just interesting choices that you make, Joe. Where like the inside of the cave, you really just kind of gray toned that entrance, right? But the mountains in the back you painted. I mean, I love the choices that you make when you're doing these, because you're really thinking about what the final printed image is going to end up looking like while you're working on the piece, and you know exactly what you need, and you still end up pulling off just a beautiful piece of art in the process. I mean, this is gorgeous, even with these two mummified corpses right in our faces.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. And with say the entrance to the cave, and the just the hint of the rock texture on the top, knowing what I can do in Photoshop and what what will allow me to get something that looks decent but still keep my deadline. If I had done this, if I had actually airbrushed in the background on this, the original would probably look that rock texture would probably still be there, and I would just airbrush a flat tone on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, doing that in Photoshop, like probably would have added like an extra 4 hours worth of work doing it airbrushing.
Yeah, because you got to mask the character, and that takes a lot of effort to do that.
Yeah, and that like there are certain things I have never enjoyed doing, and cutting out Frisket, the mask for the characters, that's always a drag. It's always such a pain in the neck. And also with the joys of Photoshop, it allows you to experiment. Like, okay, should the background be blue or green?
Mm-hmm.
Should it be purple? And with airbrushing, once you put the Frisket on the mask over the figure, you have to airbrush in the background, and you're basically guesstimating in your head how dark to make it, how light to make it. And once you peel off the Frisket, you're stuck with it. And if you don't like it, you can always put the Frisket back down, but that is like a whole nother nightmare. So yeah, the life is so much easier with Photoshop.
I get it. So lot 32 still available, $2,500. We got 2 more pieces to look at, and both of these pieces are edge to edge complete. So this next one is the first one of its kind that I think we've shown on this show before. This is a Steed and Peel cover from Volume 2, Number 1. This is lot 33, priced at $2,500. So if you're a fan of the Avengers, the old Avengers, my dad loved that. I'd watch those black and white shows till my eyes bled, because it was always on the tube back in the day. But and he probably because he liked Peel a little bit. But so this is a fun one. I mean, did you? I mean, I have to imagine you really enjoyed working on this cover.
Oh yeah. I did 4 Steed and Peel covers, and I'm a big fan of the original show. Love Emma Peel, one of the sexiest fictional characters of all time. Diana Rigg was amazing. She's since passed away, but yeah, this I'm so thrilled I got to do these covers.
Now, is this whole background done airbrush or painted, or what was the approach on that one?
This is airbrush and marker, actually.
Okay.
All the swirls, that was all done in marker, and then I just airbrushed over it. And yeah, the figures were done with marker pencil and little bits of acrylic paint.
Wow. Well, it's gorgeous. You captured their likenesses very well too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I don't usually consider myself, being an expert at likenesses or anything, but yeah, I wanted to get these two down right.
Well, you did a fantastic job. And so this one's still available. This is lot 33, priced at $2,500. It's not that kind of Avengers cover, Goo. It's not. Ant-Man is not on this one. But if he were, he'd be at the end of her sword, I believe. So let's see here. What do we got? Our saber, right? So let's see. We got one more to look at, and this is lot 34. Again, a very unique piece because it is edge to edge as well. And this one's priced at $2,000. It's the cover to Vampirella versus Dracula #3. And we're getting a great look at Vampirella's assets here as she battles Dracula here. But I love this one. I think it's cool. I do love seeing the ones where you actually go, edge to edge traditional. It's like you knew it needed it to be done that way. I mean, in this one in particular, it's like you probably had no choice. I mean, this is one where you wanted to render, the face all traditional because it just gave, it feels like you couldn't have done it any other way and achieve exactly that Linsner feel to it.
Yeah, and yeah, I enjoyed doing all the covers for that series. Yeah, this was probably my first serious work on Vampirella. I think before doing the series, I had done maybe 1 or 2 covers and a couple of trading cards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Vampirella was first drawn by Frank Frazetta, so definitely had my Frazetta hat on this day when I was thinking of this piece.
Yeah, Mr. Easy Lucky says Frazetta curves. That's true. And Fat Doc says beautiful colors, and I completely agree. I mean, I love this piece. And no, that is a good one. Baby Got Bat. All right, Brian Bailey. All right. Well, this one is the last piece of the day, lot 34, priced at $2,000. And as you know, I'll run through all the lots really quickly to remind everybody which pieces didn't sell. Now, and I'll send out a mailing. Well, it's kind of late in the day today. I'll probably send out a mailing tomorrow sometime. Always try to remind people which pieces are still available. I don't know if I was doing that before, Joe, but I at least try to hit people up, remind them if you didn't watch the show, go back and watch the show. But also, here are the pieces that we didn't sell in case you're interested. Because sometimes, I mean, honestly, I think I sold 2 Mike Oeming covers after the show to people who either watched it later or, read it in email. So we try to make sure we hit everybody, but we did have a great audience throughout the show today. We're averaging around 120 people. We still have 100 people watching us right now. So nice. Yeah, we appreciate everybody. I know this was a little bit longer because we had a lot of art to go through, but I appreciate everybody hanging out with us throughout the entire show. So let me remind everybody really quickly which pieces are still available. And of course, you can claim them still, or, if you want to still think about it, you can let me know via email after the show. But let's see, we got lot number 1. That was the Bettie Page Alien Agenda #3 cover for $2,000. Then the Bettie Page #1 cover, that is lot number 2, priced at $3,000. You have the unedited version here for your viewing pleasure. Then we've got lot 3, priced at $3,000. The cover to Bettie Page #2 from volume 5. Love that one as well. And then we have another Bettie Page here. That was the cover to the Alien Agenda #4. This is lot 4, priced at $2,000. We've got lot 5, Bunny Mask, the hollow inside #1 variant cover, priced at $1,800. And also, we've been talking a lot about Frazetta here and there throughout the show today. And hey, I see in the chat, T-Tad has claimed lot 1. T-Tad, and you've got a great story to go along with that one, T-Tad, because this is the image that Facebook would not let me promote. So if you end up posting it to Cap, and I hope you do, please, I'll send you the image, the little graphic I put together, the email I got from Facebook that would not allow us to use it as an ad. Oh, and Fat Doc has claimed the image right on the screen. Fat Doc, you have got incredibly good taste, I have to say, because this it's a gorgeous image, obviously, and like like Joe had mentioned, getting to draw a Frazetta character like Death Dealer is was I'm sure, like Joe mentioned, an honor. So thank you so much for picking that one up. Nice to see both of those go to good homes.
Very
I'm just
nice.
trying to write as fast as I can so I can keep showing these. But yeah, congrats to both of you. We really appreciate it. This is my Frazetta, says Fat Doc. Yes, indeed. That's awesome. Let's see. Lot 7 did sell, so Lot 8 is available. Again, this is a gorgeous one too. This one's priced at $3,000. It's a recent work by Joe. It is the cover to Deja Thoris issue 3. Let's see. Then Lot 9 sold. Lot 10 is next. So this was the cover to Deja Thoris 4, another recent piece, of course. And she's very athletic looking. I love this image and love the color choices used in this one. Then Lot 11 was claimed. So we've got Lot 12 next. This is Draculina Blood Simple number 2 cover. This is, again, Lot 12 priced at $1,800. Then we've got Lot 13, another, let's see, this is the Draculina Blood Simple cover to issue 3, priced at $3,000. Then we've got Lot 14, priced at $2,000, the cover to Draculina 4. And again, that guy, we don't know if he's happy or sad, but he is, he could be, well, no, he's gray tone. He's not happy. Yeah. If he had a little bit of color in his cheeks left, he might still be with us. So Lot 15, the cover to Draculina Blood Simple 5, available for $2,000. And this is the last Draculina that we've got. This is Lot 16, priced at $2,500, and it's the cover to Draculina Blood Simple number 6. And okay, and just so everybody knows, while I'm showing the slides, I can't see the chat. So I do see that Galaxy Comics Saginaw claimed Lot 17. And I'm going to go ahead because I was just about to actually move over to that one. So let me note that on my spreadsheet here. So I've got that. And yeah, Dawn Fan should get 13. I completely agree with Fat Doc on that one. But thank you, Galaxy Comics Saginaw. And just because, let me go ahead and show it. This is the cover to Lot 17. That was the Hell Sonja number 1 cover. And yep, again, just I love the color choices that you do on these things, Joe. I mean, the gloves are almost pink, right? I mean, it's fun, it fits, and just again, it just shows your mastery of color. Because I'll tell you, I might have been one day, good at drawing a figure, but color is just so hard, and at least for me, and for you, you're just got it all. You've got the color, down, and you're just fantastic with the figure as well. So you've got like the best of both worlds at the tip of your brush every single day. I'm always amazed.
Thanks, Bill.
So congrats to Galaxy on that one. We appreciate that. And yeah, you can't let Doc get them all. I hear you, man. All right. So Lot 18 is still available. This is the cover to Red Sonja Hell Sonja number 2. This is priced at $1,800. Lot 19 is available. Immortal Red Sonja number 10. This was the last in the series, and as Joe mentioned, he put a lot of he gave this one his all. It's priced at $4,500, and it's edge to edge. It's absolutely stunning. I'm sure in person, this is a piece that you just could stare at forever, and it would be a piece you'd want to frame and put on your wall. So Lot 19 priced at $4,500, still available. Then we've got the Purgatori Must Die number 1 cover. That is Lot 20, priced at $1,800. And on Lot 21, that's the cover to Purgatori Must Die number 3, priced at $2,500. Then we had several lots sell consecutively, lots 22 through 27. So we'll go ahead and take a look at lot 28. That was the cover to Invincible Red Sonja number 2. This one's priced at $3,000. And we've got this cover from Red Sonja 23, lot 29, priced at $3,000 as well. Let's see, we've got a few more here. Lot 30, the John Carter of Mars number 4 cover, and this one's priced at $3,000. Then lot 31, the cover number 2 to John Carter of Mars as well, $3,000. Then we've got lot 32, the Sheena Queen of the Jungle number 3 cover, priced at $2,500. And then 2 more pieces. We got lot 33 here, the Steed and Peel volume 2 number 1 cover. And this was priced at $2,500. And last but not least, the one we looked at just a few moments ago, the Vampirella versus Dracula #3 cover. What year was this, Joe? Is this, because I remember looking at your signature and like, that's a little different than your signature today, but now I didn't zoom in on it. So what year was this, do you think?
2011.
2000. So that's what I was thinking. It was about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So there you go. This one's priced at $2,000 for anyone interested. So yeah, there you have it, everybody. I mean, again, we sincerely appreciate all the purchases that were done today. But let me remind everyone what we need to do as far as finalizing your purchases today. I'll show that slide once more. That shows you. We want you to email your information. Give me the artwork you claimed. I mean, I've got everything written down, but in your email, just mention what lot number you picked up, or lot numbers in some cases. You're going to send your email to bill@comicartfans.com. In that email, I'd also like it if you would give us your mailing address at that time. And so let me think here. So yeah, I'll get, once I have that, if you need to make time payments, remember, we did make that offer that you can do that. We're going to want a third down and payment in full within 45 days. You hold that up again, darn it, Joe. Hold it up. Every time it's like I get to look at it, nobody else gets to. He's not making an obscene gesture either, everybody. There it is. There he is. Look at that.
This is my custom Commandy Mego action figure.
That is awesome. Hey, wait a minute. I'm making you go full screen here just once. The custom Commandy figure. It is not for sale, everyone.
Not for sale, no.
For sale.
He just keeps me company when I'm working.
Oh man, I love that. I love it. But yeah, so please, if you want any of the lots, whether it was the fixed price stuff that we had or the auction lots as well, email me today, and we'll square things up. If you need to make time payments, it's okay, but you need to let me know that. We'll bill you for a third now, and we need the balance within 45 days. And the sooner the better at the end of the day. And just remember that when we do these, the shipping is $30 domestic, $65 for anything international. I'll tack that on to the purchase price once we're all done there. But email me, and within the next few hours. Don't delay. I can, most of you are on CAF. I can track you down that way, but you don't want me to have to track you down. Make it easier for me. And
Bill, somebody, Alberto Gonzalez claimed number 32.
Oh, sorry. Again, I wasn't on that in the chat window. I do apologize because I was doing the slides. Where were we at? Where was Alberto? Oh, there it is, Alberto. Picking up lot 32. Oh man. Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry, you're right. I did not see it. I see Alberto was making mention numerous times, and I was in the slide screen. I love this interface, but I hate the fact that I can't see multiple windows at the same time. So lot 32, just so everybody remembers, that was the Sheena, and nice. Just fantastic. Thank you so much. We are happy that Alberto picked that up.
And Brett Medora want to know if they can pay by check, and I believe you said yes.
That is very true. You can, we can take, as I mentioned, there is a fee if we go PayPal where we need to take a credit card, right? That's 4% if you're in the U.S. and 5.5 if you're outside of the U.S. And trust me, those are just covering the fees that PayPal puts on those charges. Those of you who don't want to have the charges, we're happy to take Zelle. I can take that, or you can mail a check in. And if you're paying with a check, just we want the check in the mail, Monday. Let's no delay on that, because that way we can square things up. I mean, and as I've told everybody, I'll have the art in hand by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So the sooner we get the payments completed, the sooner the artwork will be out there and in your hands. I mean, we get things turned around within a day or two after we've received payment and I've got the art ready. So, it keeps everybody happy. I get Joe paid really quick, and then we can start thinking about our next show 8 or 9 months down the road.
And Jeffrey Moy said you take time payments?
We are doing the time payments. We need them in 45 days, Jeffrey. We will take a third down, right now, and then we just want the other 2/3 paid off in 45 days. So if you're able to do that, we're happy to accommodate. We couldn't do these in the earlier shows because we were working with Third Eye and a few other people. Since these are handled all by us in-house now, I'm willing to kind of take the time to stay on top of those and track them. So I think going forward, when we're doing shows like this, where some of the prices are a little bit higher than usual, but I mean, completely well worth it, as everyone knows. We want you to be able to get the art. So making that as an option is something that we're definitely going to explore with each artist. It's really up to them at the end of the day. If they're okay with it, then I'm willing to take the time to track the payments and work with the buyers too.
Yes, and Murdoch asked about a follow-up email. Going to send an email out about art that is still up for grabs later.
Yes, absolutely, I am. It'll probably, I may do it tonight, or it might be something I send out first thing in the morning. But I will do that. And I just did notice that Matthew Pop has claimed lot 2. Matthew Pop, thank you so much, Matthew. Again, we appreciate everybody's interest in the artwork today. It's been a lot of fun. The thing is, talking art and selling art, I mean, it's just a natural thing. It's like auctions can be so boring. You don't get to talk to the artists. I love the fact that we get to sit down, we get to talk to you, you get to tell us about the thoughts that went into a lot of these pieces, Joe, and it just makes for a lot more fun, right?
Yeah, and I actually enjoy going over it because sadly, quite often I'll just do artwork and then it goes into a folder, goes into an Iwata art folder, and I actually like being able to share it with people. Nothing makes me happier than my art ending up in a collector's hands. Someone who's going to really love it. I've been lucky enough to acquire a couple of Grail pieces for myself, and it's an amazing thing. Like I mentioned this last time. There's a Michael Golden piece from Epic Illustrated magazine that I had a Xerox of this hanging on my wall for years as a teenager. And Albert Moy had the original, and I was able to get it. And it was like, like being able to hold it and like actually, touch the original is like such a profound experience.
Yeah, it definitely.
If you're an art lover, it hits you really deep. It's special. I'm a firm believer in the alchemy of art. Of creating gold out of base metal, out of base lead, and then if you think about the magic of art, Charles Schultz is no longer with us, but if you read a Peanut strip, it comes alive, and it was just simple ink on paper, but there's some bit of magic captured in the formation of those lines. And, I can still read, things done, who knows how many, years ago that the power is still there, captured in the ink,
Oh yeah, definitely. And I wanted to remind Brett wanted to know, yes, your lot was number 26, Brett. But yeah, no, I completely agree. And I talk about all the time on the show, just, our hobby is just so unique from everything else under pop culture and comics, as art collectors. It's just very different. I mean, you have a different relationship with a work of art than you do with a comic book or a statue or a Slurpee cup or a Funko or whatever. You know what I mean? There's something very, art collectors don't grow on trees. You have to have an appreciation for the arts. I mean, because people can love comics, love reading the stories, the characters and all that. But, being an art collector is just special because you get the relationship with the piece, with the creator and the story. I mean, it's just to me, I'm so happy that I get to like hang out and do these things with guys like you and host these shows for people in the chat, because it really is fun. And I think at the end of the day, these shows will help expose our love for original comic art to a lot of new collectors, right? I mean, you gotta, and I think that I wish I would have started these earlier, because they have been so much fun. I mean, they've reinvigorated me in the hobby. I mean, it really has been a great thing. And Brian Bailey wanted to know what numbers are still available. I did go through all those. I mean, honestly, if you go back about 10 minutes in time, I went through all the pieces that were still out there. Now that I know people are kind of interested, I will take the time immediately after the show. I'll put the first email together. I'll send it out by 6 p.m. Eastern. That'll have the lots available. I'll just put the slides in there that show them all. And I'll probably send out a reminder email on Monday, but there will be an email that goes out within the next hour that will have all the unclaimed lots for anyone who's interested. So,
so Bill, actually, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I imagine you're on the front line of the world of comic art sales.
I am.
What was it? The Mike Zeck Spider-Man piece.
Yeah.
What did that sell for?
3.37 million.
Okay, that's serious art collecting.
Yes.
Has that changed the way the type of people who are looking at comic book art as a potential investment now?
Yeah, I
In other
mean, in
words,
a way,
have more speculators entered the market?
sure. Do I think so? So yeah, I think, is it prevalent? I'd say no. But are there speculators in the hobby? Sure. But I think there are also people who feel that art is a better bet, right? They've watched comic prices that's went ballooned in 2020 and 2021 start to kind of taper off, right? I mean, comics were kind of hot, just like sports cards were right at the beginning of the pandemic. But both of those markets have seen their prices go down in the last 12 months. Comic art, by and large, hasn't lost any value and seems to continue on an upward trend. So I think it's back to its art. It's one of a kind, whereas comics are mass produced. So are trading cards. So art should, when treated, as a proper, it is a work of art. It should always hold its value. Fine art over the years holds its value. It doesn't go down. And so, but did that one sale really change anything? No, but I do think it, uh, I don't know who bought it, but my understanding just from side conversations, with it, with Heritage is, somebody who is a collector of other things, just, was very interested in the piece. And so that's what happened. But I mean, it still took somebody else bidding against them to get it to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so all that means is a new collector entered the hobby. Maybe it's the only piece of art they ever choose to buy, and that's okay. I mean, but it helped raise awareness. There were certainly a lot of articles that went out to all the national media about that piece that probably that shocked a lot of people. And I think that's a good thing, because it got it back. It got our hobby out in the news. It didn't necessarily raise the price of the next secret wars page that came up by Zek, right? But it was at least something that got us out. Got us some good press, I think, and I think that's always good. But sure, you see people. You read a lot about investing in art where they have those pools of people going in, and buying owning a percentage. I mean, that kind of stuff's actually been going on for a long time in its own weird ways. Brothers who share collections, or a couple collectors who, would go in on a piece because they couldn't afford it, independently. That kind of stuff has kind of been in the hobby one way or another for 20, 30 years. I mean, I've talked with collectors who've told me, like, yeah, I co-owned it, this page that we bought in 95 because neither of us could afford it on our own, but we bought it, and he gets it 6 months out of the year, I get the other 6.
Yeah.
And as a collector, I'm like, is that really, how does that work? I mean, but it's there. So I don't know. So that doesn't really answer your question perfectly, but because at the end of the day, it's art. And I think that's what's special about it. And that's what we all appreciate about it. It's why we collect it. And it has a monetary value associated with it as well. And so it's, again, it's, yeah. But did that one sale have an effect on things? No. But other than the press that it got, I don't think it really, did anything. But Fat Doc, thank you for emailing me as well. I wish that Mike Zeck would have gotten a portion of that, but of course he definitely did not. Brian Bailey. That's kind of how
how that works. Yes, it would have been wonderful if Mike Zeck had gotten a chunk of that. But the way this type of thing works is the glow from that. Mike Zeck will glory in the glow of that, and anytime he draws, Spider-Man in a black outfit again, it's going to sell for a hell of a lot more now because of that.
And it should, right? And it really should. Yeah, I mean, because you have to think about it. I mean, what Zeck art was really hot prior to that. I mean, his Punisher work was always hot. His Captain America work was always sought after. But like, you could buy a lot of Secret Wars pages for fair prices. You still can today. But I do think that's great. I mean, it puts a lot of attention on artists and their work. I mean, like before that, I mean, everybody knew Zeck was a fantastic artist, but you see that and it's like, yeah, well, he's really respected, and he should be. I mean, there needs to be more. There needs to be better appreciation for the creators that put their time into the hobby. I mean, we always do. I mean, that's why we love going to shows or sitting at a chat like this. But no, I think all that stuff is just is better for the hobby. We need more of it. We need more people talking about the hobby in any way, shape, or form. You know, I think that it's been disappointing watching a lot of shows, cons over the years, you know, kind of giving artist alleys smaller and smaller and smaller spaces. You know, that's why shows like Heroes in Baltimore are really special. You know, they still focus on the creators, you know, the artists and the writers. And I think that, you know, we need more of that. And that's kind of why I decided to do that show in Florida too. It's like, you know, I mean, if anybody's going to do an art show in the States, I mean, you know, I think, you know, it should have been done a long time ago, but that's what it's all about. It's about trying to elevate the arts. I'm trying to work with I've got a meeting in May at the Orlando Museum of Art I was going to try to pitch about having a show there of collector works and a few, you know, trying to figure out how I would curate it. But I wanted to have a show there that kind of coincides with our show so that we can get it back out in the press in a different way.
Wow.
And they're interested enough that they've invited me to come down to talk with the head curator of the museum. Wow. And so I'm really trying to approach the show in a lot of different ways to make, you know, to elevate the hobby and really give the artwork the respect that it deserves.
Wow. Excellent. Wow. That's a brilliant thing. I hope that comes through.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And I agree. Lake Como is really the only other show that's strictly art only. You know, it's in Italy, but you know, Steve Morgan and I, you know, used to own Big Wow. Big Wow was a very artist centric show. And so, yeah, Como's been out there. I think this is their 4th show this May. So anybody that can make it to Italy, you definitely have to go to that show. I mean, they bring in a lot of European artists and of course a lot of US artists as well. You know, again, you know, Steve knows how to treat everybody really, really well. If you've ever, I mean, you went to Big Wow a few times, right?
Yeah, that Steve was a fantastic host. I always had a fantastic time at Big Wow, and I was actually invited to Lake Como. Just I couldn't make it work this year, but I hope to go next year.
There you go. I mean, yeah, Steve treats everybody well. He treats the artists incredibly well. And if you're an attendee at it, you're going to have a great time too. I mean, he's been the best at it. I hope to have learned a little bit from him, you know, that I can do the same here. But yeah, Steve's the best. And he's been an incredible patron of the arts for years and years and years. You were always either set up near him in San Diego.
Right across the aisle.
Yeah, right across the aisle. So you saw, I mean, Steve was just, he was just a welcoming guy, bringing everybody in. And then but again, he always took care of people and, you know, guests and artists, unlike any other show promoter that I was ever aware of.
Yeah, one of the great things about Steve is his encyclopedic knowledge of the world of comic art. One time in San Diego, the famous Jose Gonzalez Vampirella painting, where she's, you know, the one they made into the 6-foot door poster. I asked him, Steve, you know, do you know where that might be? Do you know who might own that? And he says, oh yeah, this guy has it, blah, blah, blah. Like right off the top of his head, he knew who owned that painting. So, I mean, it's in his blood. He knows it.
Exactly. And yeah, he has a passion for that style of art, right? I mean, for the South American artists, and yeah, I mean, that's right up his alley. He has an amazing art collection as well. So see, we're fawning over Steve Morgan. We could do a whole show just on Steve. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I hope you do get to go out there. One of these days I'm going to make it. I wanted to go this year, but it just wasn't in the cards. Since I moved in the fall, money's a little tight. So maybe next year I'll be able to swing a trip to Como. That's, yeah, again, I'm envious of everyone who's going this May. It's the weekend of, I think it's the 13th and 14th, or the 12th through the 14th, something like that. But yeah, he's, I mean, it's a great 114 artists. I mean, that is unlike any other show that you can ever even think to put on. They're doing it there. So very, very cool. I hope to get a lot of photos and video clips from anybody who goes there so I can put it on the channel so everybody can enjoy it too. But Joe, listen, man, this was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm so glad that we had so many, a variety of people pick up artwork today. It's always, it makes me happy to be able to have so many people be able to pick up pieces on a show like this. So we thank you all, and please send me the email, your emails as soon as you can, so I can take care of invoicing. I am going to focus on getting this email out for that lists the pieces that were unsold, so everybody can have that in hand, so you can make some decisions this weekend on whether or not you'd like to pick up another piece before we. I'm going to get the art. Well, I guess I'm going to get the art, and I'll be sending it back to Joe. So you'll have some time, but not a lot before we wrap that up. Any last words, Joe, before we sign off?
No, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Bill, this has been great. It's always great chatting with you. And I could go another couple hours if I didn't have covers I have to get back to.
Exactly. You've got some covers to get back to, so I get it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we appreciate it. We'll see you again very soon. Have a wonderful night, and look forward to getting my email in a little bit. And please, everybody, don't forget, email me if you've claimed anything. Get it out to me now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Do it right this minute.
All right.
Take care. See you, everybody.